Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to day 2 of the HerStory Online Summit. This is Gertrude Mache in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. Welcome to my co-host, the beautiful Miss Terry. Terry, introduce yourself to people. Tell them where you are.
Hello, my name is Terry Weems, and I'm from the state of Indiana in the United States. And
So
we are
we
so
are
happy
back.
to have you today.
We're back for our online summit for July 2022 with amazing stories coming in from all over the world. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and be inspired. Who's our first presenter today, Terry?
Okay, I thought I had it ready. Her name is Kayshana Brooks, and I am going to read her bio. I have it here. Okay. Kayshana, she's CEO of Renew Your Body Butters. The objective of this company is she'd like to join an organization that allows her to operate at her fullest business potential. Okay. And she says, I am not ashamed of my past. I am not ashamed of my humble beginnings. She has outstanding work experience, entrepreneur experience, and various education and certificates. Now let us hear from Kashan.
Wonderful. Thank you, Terry. She is an amazing young woman who is creative, entrepreneurial, and is really changing the way we look at the products we use on our bodies. A lot of women don't realize that the biggest organ we have is our skin. And the products we put on our bodies can affect us in very, very big ways. So when I listened to her, I was inspired.
Did you freeze? You have to excuse us. We are having some technical
Hi,
difficulties.
everyone. I am
There
Kayshawn
she goes.
Brooks. I am based out of California, and I am 42 years old. And I'm happy to be here and just to share a little bit about me. I am a holistic pain and trauma. I own a luxury skincare company called Renew You Body Butters. We specialize in creating skincare products for those with sensitive skin issues such as eczema, rosacea, hyperpigmentation, body acne, all things of that nature. And we also have an affiliate program. I've partnered with 49 affiliates and one celebrity brand ambassador who's all about bringing more brand awareness to using our products and services. And I teach established entrepreneurs how to start, grow, and scale their own affiliate programs. Now, the passion, me walking in my purpose, this all started from a necessity, a need for my family. So, just to give you a little background, I grew up suffering from sensitive skin issues such as eczema, um, this body acne symptom. It's a long word, but short word is HS, and my oldest son has psoriasis as well. But the things that natural shea butter or cocoa butter, things like that, when it would get out of control, we were able to take care of those things. But what really turned the story of everything was my youngest son. He was diagnosed with eczema as an infant. He was about 2 or 3 months old, and his was very, very aggressive. And not that I'm knocking, Western medicine, because at the time I was actually working as a nurse. I have 20 years of experience in the medical field. So, I was listening to what the doctors were saying. And after 3 years of basically watching my son suffer, nothing was really working. They basically would just give him steroids and sleeping medication, but he was still shredding his skin, having blood infections, and I'm watching him growing up, and I'm feeling like, I'm failing as a mother. And then things started to trigger me where I remembered the issues, the teasing that I went through, or me scarring my own skin. I didn't want him to have to experience what I went through. So I basically started, messing around in the kitchen, mixing butters and oil, just from my own knowledge of what I used previously, but those things were not enough. It was like I was going to war with his skin, because he had multiple forms of eczema at the same time. I didn't even know the human body, could do that. And I had been through nursing school and everything, but it took me a couple of years of just learning about, the different oils, the different butters, what other cultures use, and just the test and trial of mixing and blending and learning, to use organic products, and learning to, the more I dug deep into this skin issue, I learned about how not using alcohols, artificial colors, and, artificial scents and things like that. And those things started to make a difference in his skin appearance. But I would say it was about a good 50%, back to normal, but it was still, that's a 40%, 40-50% still needs to be worked on. And that led me into looking at things holistically, where it wasn't just only what I was putting on his skin. It was, okay, now what is he eating? Making sure the soaps that we use aren't, you know, before I even decided to come out with my business in 2018. So throughout those 10 years, once I seen what it was doing for him, then I started looking at myself. Okay, well, what other natural products could I use for this and that, and for everyone in my family? That I made products for a decade, and then 2018 is when my company, the U Body Butters, was born. And it has been an amazing journey, this whole time. I tell people, if my business was to ever, go out of business, I would still be making these products, because we are a product. My family, myself, we are a product of the products. We use everything that we promote. But the ironic change that happened, so I got my business license in 2018, and it just so happened right before then I got in two really bad accidents. A drunk driver had hit me on a freeway at 85 miles an hour in April of that year, and literally 56 days later, the prison that I was working at, the gates malfunctioned and crushed me. And so, with the combination of those two things, that ended my 20 run in the medical field. And I had just, really had about 6 months of getting out there, going to vendor events, having my business. So it was just more of a hobby then. So in 2019, when I wasn't working, kind of lost my mind a little bit because it was like, what do I do now? All I've ever known was the medical field, and here I am with these body butters and bath salts and don't know what to do with myself. And a voice told me, do what you always done. You're going to network, you're going to collaborate, you're going to build relationships, because that's what I've done my whole life. I have I grew up with drug addicted parents, and learning to survive in that type of environment, I had to do a lot of networking and collaborating and building relationships to make sure I ate, had clothes, all those things. And so that voice internally, like, you're going to do the same thing within your business. And so in 2020, I got me a website, and literally, about 3 months into me having my website, new entrepreneurs, we always expect our family and friends, the ones closest to us, to support us. But I really wasn't getting that type of support. Not that they have to, but a transition happened. And March or April of 2020, a stranger reached out to me, and she was like, hey, I like your brand, I like your products, I like your mission. You're not just about pushing products, you're about educating as well. As the nurse inside of me. And so she was like, can I be your affiliate? And I'm like, I didn't even know what an affiliate was at the time. So I went to some mentors, and they were like, girl, do you understand what's in front of you? You could be like holistic Mary Kay or Avon, with you having someone, want to represent you. So, I went back to them and was like, okay, I like this idea. If you're willing to rock with me as I learn about this and give me constructive feedback where we can grow faster. So, what started off as in just, trying to get more brand awareness, trying to get some little extra sales, turned into me networking with all of these women and building these relationships and finding ways to collaborate with them. We built this strong community. And we are 2 years, into my affiliate program, and I now have 49 affiliates. I still have the one celebrity brand ambassador. I have two more getting ready to come on. Can't really say who yet until the contracts are signed, but who knew, just given a little bit and willing to network and collaborate and build relationships with people would develop into everything that my business has developed into. I feel like I'm walking, truly in my purpose. Like I said, when the accident happened and I left the medical field, it was like, now what? But I still get to use all of that knowledge, all of that experience that I gained through, the struggles of personally and with my family. I get to help those, and also too, I'm very big on educating, as you heard me say. So it's not just about always pushing the product. I even have a eczema support group with natural solutions on Facebook too, people, because just personally, with myself and my family, Western medicine, there's a lot of side effects that we've had. So I had to do a lot of research and find a lot of natural alternatives and solutions. And so I'm not afraid to share that information, because I know what works for one may not work for another. I'm not out here, saying my products is the best thing on the planet. I want to give you alternative solutions as well, because you need a toolbox when you're dealing with autoimmune conditions and things like that. Hence, me having the name Holistic Pain and Trauma Warrior, since those accidents, I've been in consistent therapy. So, I'm seeing more about helping others with dealing and managing their pain because, it's a lot to go through. So I look at everything as walking in my purpose, everything is coming into alignment. And I'm out here, helping others, who want to start their own natural skincare lines. And I'm highly encouraging every entrepreneur, if they don't have an affiliate program, to have one. If you have a product-based business, service-based business, nonprofits, it does not matter what you have. Why grow your business by yourself when you can grow it with a community and leveraging other people's audiences, and it's something that I've learned as I've been walking on this entrepreneur journey, where entrepreneurs complain about the lack of support. Went into coaching programs, mentor programs, those people who were around or would have been around, I would have never done that because I would have listened to them instead of, okay, this is it. This is, there's no turning back. And I'm just so happy because I have these 49 affiliates, this celebrity brand ambassador, and something that's very key to this that I want you to know. In total, that's 50 people that I'm networking and collaborating with and been building relationships with for the past couple of years. I would say maybe five. I only asked five to be on my team. The other 45, they came to me and asked me, even my celebrity brand ambassador, she came to me and she asked me, can she be my brand ambassador? That speaks volumes when you have people come to you and want to be a part of what you have. It's a very exclusive program, but I'm just happy for the journey.
Wow. What a fantastic journey you've been on.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Now, if you could go back to the younger you, who was starting on a journey, not quite knowing what she was doing, how she was going to do it, and if you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom, three pieces of advice, what would they be based on what you've learned up to this point?
The first thing I would tell my younger self is to believe in yourself a lot more. Stop second doubting and looking for reassurance in other people. Believe in yourself, because it was when I started to believe in myself is when I seen a major difference. And the second thing I would tell myself is, when you hear those voices, those little messages, um, don't run from them. Like in the beginning, when I was creating the products like the body butters and the body oils and bath salts, that was kind of easy for me. And I heard a voice say, you're going to create a facial collection. And I immediately said, no, I'm not. I'm like, well, that's going to be hard, way too hard. And 5 years later, in 2020 is when I developed my facial line, and my business is known more for my facial line. And that is exactly how I got my celebrity brand ambassador, because of my facial line. So not running from challenges, that's what I was doing. And thirdly, I would tell my younger self, it's okay if whoever walks away, because it opens up the door for those who are meant to take this journey with you. Who you think is going to take this journey with you, most of the time they're not. Be okay and open the door for those who are meant to take that journey with you, because what was it, in 2021, the White Label World Expo found me on Clubhouse, and I had some of my affiliates that I've never met in person flying in from all across the United States to come spend a week with me in Las Vegas. And I'm humble enough to say I didn't pay them anything, as far as I didn't pay for their rooms, their flights, but it was the relationship that we've built over this time, and they believed in me, and they believed
Mentors.
Mhm.
A lot of times our default position is to go to family, to friends in search of support, when that support really comes from strangers.
Mhm.
The importance of mentoring. Touch a little bit about that.
The importance of mentoring is very vital. We are comfortable around people who we know, who we trust, because we think that they know best. But, whatever field that you're trying to go into, getting advice from someone who has taken those steps, it makes you not go through as many mistakes. Nothing is strictly set in stone. Everyone has their path to take, but why figure it out? Why take the long route? Why make it harder for you if someone who has taken the exact steps or similar steps as you can help make this journey for you less bumpy? They're not trying to just make it an easy cakewalk, because we all are going to have our trials and tribulations, but that mentoring, that coaching is vital. I would not be where I'm at. Like, for example, my dad is very wealthy, but he's into, real estate and life insurance and things like that. And a lot of people just assume, because he has a lot of money and knowledge and stuff, that he's the reason my business is where it's at. I'm like, no, my dad has absolutely nothing to do with this. I had to go find these mentors and these coaches and investing in myself. We invest in cars and homes, but I know as entrepreneurs, we're afraid to invest in our businesses, in ourselves, but it's vital, it's key, and it never stops. It never stops.
Oh, wow. Wow. Now, you are now helping other people. You're shortcutting the process of doing it the hard way, because a lot of times we're all
Whatever they want to, but most people who come to me, they want me to customize something for them. So I would speak to them about who is their target market, what are they trying, what is the solution to the problem, that they want to have, and I would customize that product for them. I help take out the guessing game. A lot of people, some people, just wake up and say, hey, I want to start a skincare business. Me, I wasn't like that. I had to eat, sleep, and breathe this for almost 15 years. So you can come to me knowing that I've done all the mixing, all the formulations, all the testing trials, and have the knowledge and the research to customize those products for you. And I'm offering you, to mentor you, to give you the resources that you need so that you can have a successful launch. That's part of investing in yourself and in your business. So working with me, you get the products that you need. I help you with the packaging, give you resources for your labeling, and help you with if you want to start your own affiliate program or looking for brand ambassadors. You get the ebook to help with that. You're going to get 30 days of mentoring so that you have a good launch, a good start, so that you're not figuring it out. I had someone a couple of years ago not want to do that, and they tried to customize their own products, but they ended up burning a lot of people's skin. And it's like, you have to crawl before you walk, and it's a process. It's serious business when you're dealing with these products, even natural products.
Oh, wow. So take us into the future as my last question to you. You are now light years ahead of time. You're 100 years old. You're sitting with your grandchildren, great-grandchildren under a tree, and you're reflecting back on your life. And if time was an illusion and you could go and speak to the future you, what would you say to this wise woman who's led you to this point?
I would say to the wise older me, thank you for not giving up. Thank you for consistently fighting, and thank you for learning to say, learn to stop saying, why me, and saying, why not me? Like, for example, the injuries that I've had that I'm still dealing with. A lot of times I've went throughout this journey, I've wanted to quit. It's like, in my head, easier to go get a job and and just be happy with life that way. But with my injuries, I'm not able to. So it forces me to have to stay this path and walk the steps that God has ordered me. And that's a whole nother mindset, that I didn't know I had. And I would tell that older Kay Sean, thank you for not giving up. And thank you for, opening up your nonprofits and helping other people in all the difficult areas that you dealt with throughout your life, so that they could have the assistance that you didn't have. So thank you for standing your ground. Thank you for having your boundaries and not breaking them, because it's all for a reason. And thank you for choosing you, for having mental peace. That's what I would tell my older self.
I absolutely love it. Well, this has been a really interesting interview. I'm excited to have met you. I know I need your help in terms of affiliate marketing with my businesses. I'll definitely be in touch. But thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The HerStory movement is attracting some phenomenal women on the planet. And I will be back again tomorrow with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Kay, I would love to invite you to speak at our next online summit. So don't go away. I'll talk to you before the end. Come back tomorrow, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a fantastic day.
Bye.
Hi. Hi, Terry. Hi, Gertrude. I'm still sort of sick, Can hear it in my nose.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, I've been sick since like last week when I had to cancel on Sunday, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I've been in bed. I haven't been able to really get out, but I do get it. I've been going for walks. I went for a walk yesterday and I went today, and I'm getting out, and I think what ends up happening is I get so tired after I'm out walking. I hope I can do this okay, that I can
that I can
Well,
get in
hang
there.
around as long as
Do
you
I
can.
sound really bad, right?
Hang around as long as you can, Sarah.
Yeah, no, I want to. I really do want to. As soon as I saw the link pop up, I went, "Oh boy, this will give me something to do." But I'm really, so, really under the weather. Did you want me to say something like a whole thing today, Gertrude? Because
No.
good,
I was just
because I
asking you to
couldn't. I
come
don't
hang
think
out with us
I could
if you're
project
free.
that positive energy being so sick. Although I really kind of go with the flow of it, and I get up
No.
every morning and have a shower and put makeup on and say, "Can you stand up?" And if I can't stand up, I just go back to sleep.
Oh, shame. No, just hang around as long as you have energy.
Oh, thank you. No,
And
I love
we've
these
still got
shows.
another 8 days before the summit ends, so you can present next week
Oh, cool.
when you're
That's
feeling
great.
better. Yeah.
So I have a bit of a problem with the volume. I can't hear you very well.
Oh, Terry, can you hear me clearly?
What's that?
I'm asking Terry if she can hear me. Terry, you're muted.
I can't
Terry?
hear Terry at all.
Terry, you're muted.
Yes, I'm hearing you fine. During the video, though, it was kind of light.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that's when I didn't hear it at all. Right?
Okay.
During the video, it was, and you did freeze up several times. Would you rather I do the videos?
Yes, I think you're going to do the videos from there, Terry. This is something not quite good about my connection.
Okay.
So who do we have next, Terry?
Okay. So you'll do the bios?
Yeah.
Okay. Denise Pizzipische.
Okay. So let me line up her bio.
Okay. Let me get the video.
And I've uploaded some of the videos to YouTube. We'll see if that also helps in the quality of the videos. So Denise says, since we're talking about my personal life, I was orphaned by the age of 13. My mother died of cancer when I was 5 years old. I was the oldest of 3 children. My parents had been married in 1959, both at the age of 36, and my mom passed when she was 42. My younger sister was 1.5 years of age, and my brother was 3. My father and my paternal grandmother raised us. When my father, about 11 years later, my father got a position as a French culinary professor at the Culinary Institute of America. He was excited to have been given a chance to teach his art. My father passed away of pancreatic cancer at the age of 51. He was diagnosed 3 months before he died, and I was the next of kin that the doctors discussed his terminal status. So she sounds like a woman who's had quite a few tragedies in her life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to have her here on our panel of speakers for today. So Terry, if you're ready, you can go ahead and play her video. While Terry's queuing that up.
Need some entertainment. I'm not quite into acrobatics today, but I'm sure I can think of something.
It's coming.
I know computers, not much fun.
Yeah, it worked fine. It worked fine in practice. Okay. Looks like it's coming. There she is.
Hi, my name is Denise Pizzipische. I'm located in Newtown, Connecticut, in the United States. I'm 61 years old, and I am a multipreneur. I love to talk about my history of business. I think it's something that women should know, that they can always reach for whatever stars that they want to reach for. I started out actually very young. I started out at 14 working, and here I am, 61 today, still working. I graduated from college and went on into the publishing industry. I became, at the age of 25, a buyer for the Walden Books chain. I was a senior buyer for Walden Books in Stamford, Connecticut. And from there, I was working, probably doing about a $60 million business back in the early 80s for Walden Books in the juvenile business, for the audiobook business, which was a brand new category, as well as doing video. So these were all new categories back in the 80s. From there, I ended up becoming the senior director for Dove Entertainment, which is an entertainment company that had an audiobook business. And that business was run by Michael Wiener, who was a film producer, and his wife, Deborah Raffin. So I ran that business for 3 years. In 1991, I decided to open up my own business. At that time, it was called DBP and Associates. And I also had a press company called Persnickety Press. So what we did was we act as a special markets representative for major book publishers and record companies and gift companies. And we sold to everybody from Avon products all the way down to Barnes and Noble. With Persnickety Press, we actually created product for various direct mail houses, for people like QVC, which was on TV, as well as Doubleday Book and Music Club, Publishers Clearinghouse. So we worked with a lot of special markets companies. I got married when I was 40, and my husband and I adopted 3 children. He was with General Electric, so we did move up to Connecticut. At that time, I scaled back part of the publishing business so that I could raise my children at home. So I still consulted in publishing, but then decided, well, I wanted to start a premium and incentive business because I had dabbled in doing custom product. So I created Persnickety Promotions. So with Persnickety Promotions, we worked with all different kinds of companies, from Melissa and Doug Toys to Yale Medical School, to a bunch of different companies, all different companies, from law firms to nonprofits, you name it. And that company we still have today. So I started out that company, and it was growing, and it was growing. I had one of my clients ask me if I would be good enough to go and create his daughter's wedding stationery, which I said, sure, no problem. I've been in the book and stationery business. I know how to do wedding stationery. That's not a problem. So 15 years ago, I started the Persnickety Bride. So of course, I had Persnickety Promotions, now Persnickety Bride, and I still was consulting in the book business. So with the Persnickety Bride, we originally started out doing stationery. And I did stationery out of my home and met with brides and grooms. We did all sorts of things through the Knot and Wedding Wire, and won all types of awards there. And ultimately, I had so many moms and daughters that asked me, why don't you open a bridal salon? That when my daughter turned 12 years of age and she was able to get on the bus by herself, I decided to open a bridal salon. So with the pandemic, I did end up stopping with book publishing, unfortunately, one of our biggest clients was the TJ Maxx Group, and during the pandemic, I just basically felt like after 30 years, I had been blessed with book publishing. I was very lucky to represent some of the largest book and record companies in this country. And working with such great retailers, but that time had come to pass. So I still have Persnickety Promotions, and the Persnickety Bride has now become a staple in the tri-state area, and we serve brides and we serve moms and we do stationery, and with my promotional company we're able to do custom favors as well. So I always believe that, or at least I've always been one that I love a challenge. I always like to learn new businesses, and I always believe that if you put your mind to anything, you can do whatever you want in life. And I'm a true believer in that. I try to encourage young women to do the same and to think alike and to be not afraid to go for things. Because again, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. So pretty much that's my story when it comes to business. So many, many years of success, a multi-million-dollar publishing business, and now what I've got going on with my other two businesses. Are we ready?
Wow, Denise, you have had a fascinating background.
Yes, a little bit, haven't I?
Multiple businesses. So you transitioned from a completely different industry, from publishing to bridal. If there was somebody who's listening to this interview right now and is wanting to do the same thing, to move out of their comfort zone and go into a completely new industry, based on what you learned from that experience, what advice could you give? 3 nuggets of wisdom about transitioning.
Be detail-oriented. Learn the business before you jump into it. And when I say that, I studied the bridal business for 5 years prior to jumping into it. I had started the stationery portion of the business, but the more I started thinking about opening up a bridal shop, I went to every trade bridal show in the industry, the trade shows, and started learning about lines, what the discount policies were, what the markup and margin was. So I spent time to learn as much as I possibly could about that business. I don't think anyone should ever jump into a business without really analyzing if they're capable of running a business like that, because it is a very, very different business than, let's say, for instance, representation of large companies. It is sales, but it is a very unique type of sale. So you have to learn the nuances and be able to adjust the way you operate based on the business. Oh, was I supposed to put more nuggets out? Sorry about that. I think the other thing that I would really recommend is make sure that you have the financial backing for a business. Don't just jump into anything without having some sort of financing. I had built up 20, 30 years of financing behind my other business. So therefore, it was very easy for me to purchase inventory and do all of that. So that was very easy for me. But again, this is something that you have to strategically plan out a business plan and have some, background, at least in knowing how you're going to spend money, what you're going to do in terms of rent, what you're going to do in terms of cost of inventory, potential sales, and do like a 5-year plan going out. And then probably my last bit of nugget is just learn very quickly how to be able to go and attract your audience. And this is all done with this particular business. It is very, very heavy in Instagram. It's very heavy in TikTok. It's very heavy in communicating to brides, much more so than when I was representing other companies. So this is a consumer-driven business. This is a word of mouth business. So of course your reputation is key. And the way you just build and build and build your reputation is by treating your client like you'd like to be treated yourself, with a lot of respect. And you work closely with your clients and you develop that bond and that relationship. So therefore they go and in turn, talk to others about you.
That's fantastic. Now, in this new industry you're in, it's very, very creative. I know that weddings are so highly personalized and people are very, very sensitive about how you deal with that special day in their lives when they get married. So if there was somebody who is preparing for a wedding right now, what 3 things do they need to know in order to come to you, tell you what they want so you can execute and give them a wedding of their dreams?
Okay. So first off, what you would do, and what I say to every couple, first off, the first thing you're going to do is find your venue. Make a list of the number of people that you're going to have at your wedding. Make an amount of what you want to spend just for your venue, okay? And realize that you're going to have 18 to 20% in gratuity. And then think about the number of people that you're going to have at your wedding. Book your venue. All right, that's the first thing. Then my second suggestion is book your photographer. Those are always the 2 things that you should really just book first. And then when the bride starts thinking about her dress, the first thing you do is you don't want to come to me. You want to go to a big box store, and I won't mention any names, but you do. You want to go to a big box store by yourself, preferably, or maybe with your mom. But you're going there to just try on dresses. That's all you're doing. You're going there to try on dresses and to see what fits and what silhouettes you like. And then when you go to a private boutique like myself, you have an idea of what it is that you already like because you've already tried them on at a big box store. Now, the relationship between you and your stylist in a smaller venue, a smaller location, is going to be much closer. For us, the beauty of my shop is that we have the ability for the brides to be able to pick dresses online by placing hearts next to product that we already have in the shop. They can actually have a lookbook and they can look through it. So it automatically gives me information prior to the bride even walking in of what they like, which is terrific for me and it's terrific for them. We do pull a number of the dresses, and then from there, we're able to ask them a lot of questions, engage what type of a dress they're really looking for and what fits their body. But we know this by looking at a bride. We just know instinctively kind of like what's going to work for them in terms of their figure, in terms of what kind of fabrication, and listening to them. It's all about listening to them. And also keeping in budget. That's really important. They do have to have a budget or have some sort of an idea of what they'd like to spend on their wedding dress. So I always make sure that go with someone that you love first and foremost. Go to a big box store. When you do go to a smaller venue, a smaller store like myself, I would always say, please, please, please bring the people that you love and keep your tribe very small. Do not bring 20 people, 10 people, 6 people. 3 people are perfectly fine. Keep it small so that you don't get confused. You're the one supposed to be picking out the gown, not everyone else. Opinions do matter, but your opinion matters most. And you must be comfortable. You must feel comfortable for 10 or 10 hours, 10, 12 hours in that dress. You have to feel confident, and you have to feel absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. You'll know your dress. No one else is going to know your dress. We may show you as much as we possibly can, but at the end of the day, you are the one that's going to wear it. And that's the way I treat all of my clients. It is about loving them and treating them properly and making sure that they are the happiest that they could be when they walk out the door.
I love it. Now, in terms of the actual day, you know how they say you have to plan for the eventuality of things going wrong? What are the 3 things you have to plan for that can go wrong on any wedding day?
Okay, 3 things that can go wrong on any wedding day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be on a national broadcast about, actually this week regarding how to be a good guest at a wedding. So the couple always needs to be concerned about their guests. I hate to say it that way, but it is always best to have a gentleman or a lady, I guess, to watch out for those guests that are going to imbibe a bit in too much alcohol. That's number 1. You're always going to have like one rowdy person or one drunk person there, I always suggest to have a coordinator at a wedding, like a day of coordinator, to be very honest with you, because things do go wrong. The one thing is, like I said, you never know what's going to happen with your guests. So that's number 1. Number 2, if there are any guests that that particularly have any kind of physical ailment or the potential of something happening to them at a wedding because of just stress, or they've had an illness or whatever, it is always best to be able to have them come with another guest just in the event that something happens to them. And I only say that because one of our groomsmen actually had a stroke prior to our wedding, and we actually invited his brother and sister to the wedding because they were coming from Canada, and sure enough, he fainted upstairs during the cocktail hour, and they had to call the medics in. So we felt very comfortable having his family there, especially since the wedding was in the United States and he was from Canada. The other thing that I would highly suggest is, watch out. If you have children, you just never know what's going to happen. So, if there are children at the wedding, always make sure that there's somebody there to be able to go and keep them entertained. Make sure that there's crayons, make sure that there's, pizza in the corner or something. That way that they are, they're pretty much entertained. Lastly, just make sure that all the envelopes are collected and that somebody's in charge of making sure that the bride and groom are fed and hydrated. Those are the other things that you have to be sure of.
Fantastic. Now, as an entrepreneur, this is now my last question for you.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? You don't see me being somebody who's just going to retire and take it easy. Where are you going with this business?
I keep asking myself this. This is so funny because, my husband was with GE for 32 years, and I've just been a serial entrepreneur, and it's really hard to stop. I'm one of those kind of people that I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I'm up in the morning and I don't go to bed until I drop. So I don't know. I have no idea. I have 2 daughters, of whom, I wouldn't say reluctantly, but they are helping out in the business. I have a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old. One of them actually has taken a liking to the idea of potentially becoming a wedding planner. And she is quite good with the business, although I don't want to force my children into the business. I really don't know. I would love to be able to, if nothing more, hand it down to them and allow them to either hire management or whatever. I don't know if I'll be out of it that quickly. I give myself at least a good 10 years before retiring, because I do love it. I really do love this business. It's crazy. I'm used to working with, in the publishing business, working with, multi-million-dollar companies. But now I'm working with, brides, one family at a time. And it's very rewarding to me. It's very rewarding to see the joy that I give people, that my excitement for them doesn't wane. I'm always excited for every family and for every bride, and to see every picture. So, that's something that's very special to me. It's really nice to know that we're making a difference in their life. And I'm one of those types that I do like to follow them. So I see their babies and I get excited for them. And it is very fulfilling for me. So I think that's it. I mean, for me, I'll be there for another 10 years. After that, I can't make any guarantees.
I absolutely love it, Denise. Well, if you still enjoy what you're doing, why retire, right?
Look, if you love what you do, it shows. And I've always loved all of my businesses, even the premium and promotion business. I mean, we work with such great clients, and I love being creative. So if I keep doing it, God bless. As long as I could go on vacation here and there, I'm a happy woman. So, we take each day as it comes. Gertrude, we take each day as it comes.
I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for this interview, Denise.
Yes,
I have your website scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, they know how. And I look forward to reconnecting with you in 10 years' time and seeing where the story will go.
I love it. Thank you so much, Gertrude. This has been lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The HerStory movement is attracting some phenomenal entrepreneurs, women from all walks of life who are affecting our lives in the most important days of our lives, like a wedding. And if you want to get hold of Denise, her email is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Please get in touch. And Denise, thank you again for this amazing interview.
Thank you very much, Gertrude. You have a good evening.
Bye for now, everybody.
Okay. How was the quality of that video, Terry? Was it smooth on your side? You are muted. You're still muted.
I got it. Okay. It was, hi, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Yeah, it was on your side, it was kind of like it is now. Your quality is not that great on your side, and we're clear over here. Yeah.
All right. So long as it's clear on your side, that's fine. Because for me, it was very choppy. Yeah. I think it's again my connection that's playing up. So that's all right.
Yeah.
Jerry, good morning. How are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm fine.
Awesome. Good to see you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So who are we lining up next? Let's just give Denise some feedback, actually, on her presentation. I think she's going to be one of your potential podcast guests.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I took her website so I could watch her. Yeah, and get a little.
I think you need to reach out to her. She's a woman who's changed careers a couple of times, started different types of businesses. So I'll do an introduction via email with you and her.
Okay,
I already told her about your podcast, so she would be keen to.
Oh, great.
Did you start an hour ago?
Say that again.
Did I start an hour ago?
Yeah, 7 o'clock New Zealand.
Oh, I was told to come
on.
It
was 4 o'clock. It was 4 o'clock Eastern.
Oh. So it's 4 o'clock here right now. Oh, I thought it was 4 o'clock.
I'm sorry, it was 4 o'clock Central.
Yeah, that's what time it is here. So
No, we are starting an hour earlier than this.
I see. Okay, well, I'm sorry to be late.
It's okay.
No, it's fine. And
coming on right when you're starting.
Hey, at least you weren't
place-
singing from the computer like me at 2:00.
It's 4:00.
Where is the best place for me to send you the links, Jerry? Email, Facebook, WhatsApp?
Email for the computer.
Okay.
I got it on my computer, and it's better if it's on my email.
All right. So I'll email you tomorrow's link.
Okay.
All right.
Tomorrow,
Who do we have?
Tomorrow, my granddaughter is going on a mission, and she's going to go to the temple tomorrow. So I'm not sure for sure I'll be able to be on, but I'm going to try.
Okay. Just pop in whenever you feel you have the time.
Okay.
You know, we love having you hang out with us.
Thanks.
All right. Terry, who have you got queued next?
Did we change the sheet, her picture, Michaela or Bohava? I'm getting good.
Which one? Michaela?
Michaela. Yeah. We had Denise's picture on her video.
That's okay. That's okay. Just fast forward beyond where you see the picture, where she starts talking.
Once I start. Okay.
And I will read her bio while you do that.
Okay. Great.
I won't even attempt to say her surname. She will say it herself in the video.
Listened to her. That's why I kind of like.
So Michaela is an international fashion model and entrepreneur. She has appeared in many magazine covers, including Harper's, Bazaar, Maxim magazine. She's also been featured and mentioned in notable publications such as Forbes, International Business Times, Daily Front Row, and London Daily Post. She's the founder and CEO of Michaela V, a footwear line offering girls and women luxury, comfort, and affordable shoes.
Yoo-hoo.
Her shoes are requested by countless celebrities like Beyonce, Halsey, Olivia Culpo, as well as fashion editorials like Numero and Harper's Bazaar. A philanthropist at heart, Michaela is an ambassador for Beauty for Freedom nonprofit, which is dedicated to empowering survivors of human trafficking and youth through creative arts. So whenever you're ready, Terry, line up her video.
Okie dokie.
We were alone.
Just start it from the beginning, Terry. I know it'll be difficult to try and line up at the beginning there. Just go all the way back. I think that was an error of the editing.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Mikhaila Vyborova. I'm 27 years old, and I'm based in New York City. Thank you for letting me share my story today. I'm very excited to be with you. Where to start with my story? I was born and raised in Slovakia. It's in the middle of Europe. And I was raised by a single mom, and we were alone. They're from a middle-class family. And I've always had a dream of traveling and having my own business and leaving a little mark in the world. When I was 15 years old, my best friend at the time asked me to go to a modeling competition, modeling search with her. And at the time, I was working in a mall. I've had my first summer job. I was incredibly excited. And she asked me to go with her as a support. So I did. I didn't really have an opinion about it. I went to support my friend. While she talked me into going in with her. And since there was a long wait line, we were waiting for a long time, I decided to join her. And about a month later, I didn't win the contest. But about a month later, a modeling agency reached out to me that they would like to represent me. And it was something that not necessarily I was interested in. But after speaking to my mom, she said that this is an opportunity that we can explore and see where the life takes us. And we did that. And I think after having heart-to-heart with my mom, and she empowered me, and she gave me the hope and the strength and the guidance into how to say it, into following my dreams and not being afraid of the world. I received a contract from a modeling agency in Turkey. They wanted to represent me, and they wanted me to be on location in Turkey. And I moved to Istanbul for 2 months at 16 years old. I was incredibly terrified, but just as excited as well. And I'll never forget. At that point, I've never been outside of my country, and definitely not on my own. And I remember when I've landed in the airport in Istanbul, and I got outside, I found my car that was taking me to the modeling agency apartment. I remember the song that was playing in a car it was Michael Jackson, Hollywood Tonight. And I'll never forget that feeling that I've had, that something's going to change, and it won't be the same. I had this feeling that my life is going to take in another direction, quite unplanned one. And I've got to meet so many wonderful people. I've had 9 roommates at the time. In 3-bedroom apartment. We're all sleeping on bunk expats, and I didn't really speak English, and nobody really spoke Slovakian. So that was my first lesson of English on my own. I was speaking with hands. Drawing things out. Yeah, I get to know a new city. I've started working. Very little money, but I was so excited. I felt like the world is my oyster. And I kept flying back and forth after my 2 months. After my first 2 months in there, and I was finishing my high school. I kept going in and out. I was living in Istanbul for about a year, and then I started working in different countries. I started working in Milan. I started working in Paris. I started to travel a lot. And one dream that I've had was that I wanted to live in the United States. There was some place for me. I believed in the American dream, where you can work hard and put your mind to something, anything is possible. And that was something that was incredibly attractive to me. At the time, it was incredibly hard with visa. And I found I figured if I can, excuse me, that's my dog. He's very he likes to be with me. Yes, when I'm working. Stay in, honey. As I said, at the time, it was incredibly hard with modeling visa. And I've decided if I can just make it to the States and knock on modeling agencies' door, somebody will endorse my visa. Somebody will sponsor my visa. And that was my plan. I've had less than $1,000 saved at a time. And that was just enough for a plane ticket with 4 layovers. And I made it happen. I've had a friend of a friend of a friend, my only contact person in Fort Lauderdale in Florida, where I can stay while I knock on doors. And I did that. After years of working in Europe, about 2.5, 3 years, I made my way to States. And I started knocking on doors. And the one memory I have, after purchasing my ticket, I have about $450 in my bank account. And now the cab from the airport was over $100, and the cab from Fort Lauderdale to Miami Beach, where the agencies were, was not $150 one way, and I also needed to get back. So I pretty much had one shot. And at agencies, that somebody will take me. And after meeting with about 3 agencies, one of them took me, and that was Wilhelmina Models. They set me up with a model's apartment, helped me out with my visa, and I've started working. It was an incredibly long journey, and after living a couple of years in and out of Miami Beach, I was able to visit New York on a job, and it's something I fell in love with, and I decided to stay and make it my home. It was definitely not easy. New York is a place where it's incredibly busy. There's so much competition. From my first apartment in the Bronx with 3 roommates, modeling wasn't quite enough to keep me afloat and make a living. So one of my jobs here, I was anything from a cater waiter. I was doing background in movies. Where I get paid about $80 to $100 a day. But what it gave me, I could bring my laptop, I could bring my books, and I've studied while I was waiting around on a set. If I didn't have to go into a casting for my agency, I was doing something every single day just to get by and save money. I remember when I was doing background in movies, I had to get up at 4 a.m. and take a train to Brooklyn because we started working at 6 a.m. I was waiting around on a set for about 10, 12 hours, but I worked 2 hours out of them. I've got paid I've got free food, and it gave me room to figure it out what I want to do with my life. And other than modeling, my dreams were a little bigger. I wanted to have my own business, and it gave me the room and the focus to figure it out. And after modeling started paying off and it became my only job, I get a waiter maybe here and there on a weekends to make a little extra money. I've decided that after listening and working closely with designers, I realized that I would like to branch out on my own, and I found my space in footwear, and I've decided to start my own footwear line to make shoes. And the reason why I picked shoes, because I wanted every woman that wears it feel equally flattering, no matter of body shape, height, size, which is something I struggle with ready to wear. I felt like with shoes, everybody looks equally flattering, and that was something that was very intriguing to me. Yeah, and that's how I started with footwear. I was able to bootstrap the entire company. I've made everything is from my savings, and I took baby steps into building my dream. Excuse me, honey. And that's how we got here. That's how we got here. Years later. Oh, excuse me. Somebody ring the doorbell, and this is Doggy's kryptonite. If somebody rings the doorbell, you have to protect. I know. There was so many. I remember when I first branched out and tried to start my own business. There was so many things that went wrong, and I didn't quite know where to start. And I get this question a lot of times. I was like, oh, how did you start your business? How did you know where to start? And the answer is, couldn't be simpler. I Googled it. My initial, when I've decided, set my mind to something that, okay, I'm going to start a footwear line. I Googled how to start a footwear line. And I made so many mistakes along the way. And it took me about 2 years to figure it out. Find suppliers, find manufacturer, learn about the process. That's how it started. I Googled it. And
your story is just absolutely intriguing. You know, a lot of people will hold back when they have a dream, right? They will think, okay, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the skills, I don't have the experience. And Mother Google is out there for anybody to access. And you did just that and started this incredible footwear line. Of all the areas of fashion to go into, why shoes? What made you decide to go into designing shoes as opposed to clothing?
So the main reason why I decided to go into shoes and not clothing, because for me personally, sometimes if I look into onto something online or see something in magazines, it doesn't fit to me the way it looks like on a picture. Everybody has a different body types, and to me, everybody's different size, different height. For me, when I started it, I wanted every single woman that wears my shoes, I want it to look equally as flattering. I want her to feel the same, no matter who puts it on. It looks it looks great. It looks the same way on everybody. And that's something maybe I'm a perfectionist, but if I were to make ready to wear and make clothing, and somebody doesn't feel good in my clothing, it would personally hurt me. What can I do?
Oh, I love that. I love it. And of course, being in an industry where that is a big focus, besides what you wear, you've got to be comfortable with what's on your feet.
Yes.
Have you designed the shoes in such a way that they can also help models who are spending a lot of time on their feet in sometimes very uncomfortable shoes? Was that part of your consideration?
Yes, absolutely. So I've had a very funny story about this. Because have you ever gotten a foot massage?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where I learned. I was going every week into the Chinese reflexology places. where they have like the nerves and the inner workings of feet on the walls. And there was something that intrigued me, and they knew so much about the pressure points on the feet, where the tension is, where it hurts. So I was going to them every single week to get foot massages, and I was asking them, where do you think is the issue? Where are the pressure points? What about high heels? What makes them bad for feet? What about the rest of your nervous system? And what about the muscles? And what do you think will change it? What's the arch? And they gave me so much insight. They were incredibly helpful.
So you literally designed this out of a need for yourself because you were feeling the pain and the discomfort with wearing shoes. And yeah, I love going for a foot massage. It's like therapy for me. It actually helped me reduce my blood pressure because I'm recovering from heart failure. And somebody told me about reflexology and just how our feet really give us an indication if something is wrong with the rest of the body, right?
Yes.
So your shoes are designed with that in mind. That is amazing.
They are. So obviously it's still high heels and no high, like I'm not here to say that high heels will feel like slippers. That's not the case. Yeah. But I kept this in mind, and I tried to avoid exactly the points that are damaging.
Okay.
So obviously, I have stilettos.
Yes.
I have some stilettos, and if somebody wears them for entire day, there'll be
discomfort. Yeah.
There will be, and there's no magic. If it's a stiletto, if there is a heel, there will be some discomfort after certain hours. But what I've tried to do, I've tried to make it as comfortable as it's possible.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So if you could go back to the younger you, that young girl who decided she wanted to go into business, create something that she had never done before, and give her 3 nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you to get to this point, what advice would you give in case there's a young woman who's listening into this interview, thinking about starting a business? What are the lessons that you've learned that you can share?
I think one of my biggest lessons is you have to be stubborn on your vision, but very flexible on the details. Meaning that sometimes I'm the type of person that has everything planned out and every single step how to get to my goal. But there's a million ways how to get to 100. There's many ways how you can achieve your goal. So just be flexible on the details, because you never know where life can take you. There's different opportunities that can come your way. I think the flexibility on your details to get there, that's that I definitely learned that lesson the hard way. I think that would be my first advice, my main one. I think the second one, I still struggle with it. I know it might be quite the cliche line, but I do believe that everything is possible. And sometimes you can work hard for 10 years, but sometimes there's 1 week or one opportunity that will change your direction, and you will achieve it. So please don't give up for me and you. because believe me, I was thinking about that more than once. I've had more than one struggles where I thought that this might be the end of the line for me, but I've stuck through it. There has been more than one opportunities or lucky days that it changed, not by a lot, but a little. And I think the number three advice that I would like to give somebody, not even advice, but just believe that you're good enough. Because I used to struggle with imposter syndrome. Maybe thinking there's like, oh, who I am. I'm a regular girl from small town in a tiny country, and I'm in a tiny town. And I believe that it was like, oh, I'm not that special. Why should it be me? But also, why shouldn't it be you? And there's a room for everybody. There's room for everybody to make it. And I believe in you. Please give it a shot.
I absolutely love that. The very first one, I think, is very good advice, because a lot of times people plan to the very last second, where they feel they're going. And then when it doesn't quite go according to their plan, they give up. But you're right, there's different ways to get to a destination, and that flexibility is key.
It really is. I've learned this the very hard way, because I was such a planner. I needed to go everything my way. And sometimes something didn't exactly happen the way I intended to. I got lost.
Yeah.
But I think like finding the peace and the trust that this will be fine, and being adjustable to changes.
Yes.
It changed my life.
I love that. So my last question for you is, if time was an illusion and I could take you into the future, you're now 100 years old, maybe you're married, you've got children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and you're sitting on your porch watching the sun go down with your little dog. If you could go into the future and have a conversation with the future you, that wise woman who led you all the way to this point, what would you say to her based on how you're living your life right now?
Wow, that really touched me. I've had that imagination. All I would say is like, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. I hope all of this was worth it.
I love that. Yeah, I always encourage most of my clients that we are born with all of the knowing and all the wisdom that we need to create our dreams. And when you have a dream, your future self will lead you there. And it sounds to me like you're doing it, taking one step at a time, being bold, holding on to your vision. You know you could do this, and you've done it. And it's a beautiful example of how we should all live. So thank you so much for coming online and inspiring our audience with your beautiful story. Where can people buy these shoes? Are they online? Are they there in stores? Tell us where they're available.
So right now we are available online at www.michaelavi.com. I will send you a link.
Fantastic. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Her Story Circle movement is attracting some phenomenal women from all over the world, young and old. Tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. Thank you so much, Michaela. Hold on, because I want to share something else with you before you go. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. That was an interesting story of creating a shoe line. Terry, can you hear me?
Terry's muted.
Is it only on my end that it's in and out?
Yeah, it was on mine too. It was
on mine as well.
It just kept skipping. But
yeah,
it went when it started again, it started. So we did hear the whole story. It just was longer than usual. But it was fascinating.
Yeah.
She came from nothing and has built this business and a nonprofit. And I was very intrigued by the shoes. I have terrible feet, and I would give just about anything to be able to wear shoes that a model would wear and have them be comfortable. That's like that just thrills me to no end. Because to me, in my whole life, I've had problems with my feet, just nothing being comfortable. And high heels, I haven't worn high heels in years. I would love to try her shoes. Did you find out where she sells them?
Yeah, I'll give you the website address. I've actually got it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She's a fascinating young girl. She's just, the kind of people you wake up to and you listen to these stories and just the inspiration they bring to have come out of a small country in the Eastern Bloc Europe, go to America, create a shoe line.
She left home to work at 16. That's like incredible to have that much maturity and to recognize, okay, this might not be the right thing for me. Having the dream to go to America, when she went to so many places and worked and ended up where she wanted to be. That was fascinating.
Fascinating young woman. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. The picture that you had on there before her was someone else, right?
Yeah, that was a mistake when the video was edited.
Okay, I was like, that wasn't what I expected to see, but then she was so delightful that I was really happy. I was like, well, I don't know if this is the right person, but okay.
I guess we should have warned everybody. We were talking about it, but we just didn't warn everybody that it was the wrong picture.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, ladies, we're almost halfway there. Who is our next speaker, Miss Terry?
Okay, Kay Laxman.
All right, so maybe what I might do when Jerry's going to read the bio, I am going to check if the video has been uploaded to YouTube, and we'll try and play it from YouTube and see if that's going to be better.
Okay, yeah, because even I'm getting a delay on my camera now.
Yeah, I think we're all being challenged today.
Now it comes up. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead and read. Kay? How do you say her name?
Yes.
Kay. Mm-hmm.
Kay. Kay Laxman reads tarot cards, loves food, photography, and travel. She has 3 sassy little dogs that she likes to take everywhere, and even have their own Instagram account, Urban Dog Squad. Her background is in filmmaking, enabled her to travel and live around the globe. Storytelling is in her blood. From saving her allowance from a very young age to buy books to her master's degree from the Dutch Film Academy. Fantasy and science fiction are her favorite genres. She prefers to write fun and mystical stories. Her attraction to nature and places with a magical history brought her to New Orleans and to the west coast of Ireland. As a pagan, she felt an instant connection to the land. It feeds her imagination and has become the inspiration for Medical Chronicles. The Medical Chronicles number 4 will be released in the fall of 2022. You can follow the witches on IG and Facebook under the witch hat, and the Mary Kay on her IG account, Mary Kay Lex. Her just the first 3 letters of her last name. So, did you find it on Facebook? I mean, on.
I'm just lining it up now.
Okay, great.
It'll take a few minutes. Now, she is a fascinating woman.
She sounds fascinating.
You know, we talk about casting spells. We don't even realize the power of our words when we put words into the ether, that they actually create the reality that's all around us. And her whole thing is about words having a vibration. And the minute you put it out, you're in creation mode. I absolutely loved this interview because a lot of things that she said resonated with me. I do believe that you really have to watch the words that come out of your mouth and how you're using those words when you're communicating with other people. So this is going to be an interesting interview. And now she consults. She can write love potions for you and little rituals for you to attract a man, or she's just an incredible human being. And this is what I love about the HerStory movement. We get to connect with very unusual people. You know, these are not your ordinary folks. I love the space that we're in. I really do. So I'm going to see if this is going to work. I had the video on 2 platforms, but we'll do it from here and see if it will play smoothly this time. Oops, it's already started. I have to stop it. Okay, try that again. Technology is failing us this time round, girls.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure what's going on with all of our connections.
Hello, Gertrude. Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Kay Laxman, and I'm originally from the Netherlands. I live in part of the year in New Orleans and part of the year here on the west coast of Ireland. I see myself as a world citizen because I'm all over the place, and I feel very lucky to be able to live in 2 places. I started going to film school in the Netherlands and have a degree actually in camera and lighting, and worked there in the film industry for many years. And at a certain point, my husband got a job opportunity in America, and we thought, you know, what the heck, let's just go into the world. He had a job, but I didn't have a work permit at that time. So I came to a different country, sat there, and learned that I had to reinvent my life. I went from full-time working, always busy, teaching horse riding lessons, to absolutely nothing. And it was a bit of a culture shock, because I thought, well, I'm from the Netherlands, it's more or less the same than America. But it turned out that there was still a lot of cultural difference. And going from full-time working to absolutely nothing was really a shock to the system. So I had to think, and I started writing, because it turned out I had a lot of stories twirling around there in my head. And I started reading tarot cards. I've always been interested in tarot cards and the art and the thought behind it. And these two things started to come together into a story. And that's how I started to do the Medical Chronicles. And it's a 6-book series that I'm not sure why I started, because, it seemed very daunting. And I'm not particularly a patient person. And in the beginning, I thought, gosh, writing a book, you probably need a lot of patience. I started with screenplays, and one of my ideas about the witches, people encouraged me to start writing. And one day I found myself here in Ireland on the West Coast and thought, what the heck, I'll just start. And I absolutely love it. I love writing. I love going in, I love going into the heads of all these people and just explore. And it's totally different from where I started. And it's giving me just so much joy to explore that, and I'm just lucky to be able to do it. It's just writing is something that I never thought I would do, and so you never know how your path in life is going. I always think that's one of the hardest things, is to trust on the path that you're on. I started in the film industry. I worked on the sets. I did lots of stuff. I ended up, before I was 30, running a camera rental house, and really was into the business side of things. And I lost track of why I went to film school and being creative, and why that was important to me. But I was good at the business stuff, and for a time I enjoyed it. But after several years, I really became very unhappy and slept very badly. And so when we went to America, I thought, I really need to change what is important to me. And as a young person, I felt much more certain is what I wanted to become. I went to film school because I wanted to be a filmmaker, and something that I still do and still love doing. But it's becoming older, I found it's more difficult. What did I really want, and what is important to me? And living in a different country instilled for me to really think about who am I, and that really set me in the end on the path of writing. I'm sorry, Gertrude. You go. Sorry, Gertrude, I didn't hear you.
I was saying you and I share a very similar path. I went back to film school when I was 37.
Oh, wow. Yes.
When I moved to New Zealand, Peter Jackson was filming Lord of the Rings. And it was such an inspiration, being a storyteller from Africa, watching digital storytelling in action in my backyard. And you're right about creativity and the different expressions of creativity. Let's talk a little bit about that. A lot of people who are in business don't see themselves as being creative, or they're fearful of even exploring that. So where does one start?
Well, I think creativity is not always so obvious. People think, oh, creative is like painting or like filmmaking, and even filmmaking, you have different levels of creativity, because you can be a cameraman, which is part creative and part very technical. But I think if you're in business, creativity can be in small things like cooking. I love to cook things, and if you take a recipe, you start to learn what things fit together, and then you can start experimenting and make it your own, and that's a creative process in itself. And that can give you, I think, extra joy to these little things and give you more freedom in thinking outside the box, because people are very used to thinking in certain patterns. And I think if you are creative, it helps you to snap out of things. Like, I write, but I get stuck. I think, where does my story go? How do I do it? And then I start to do little things like I start to make pictures that relate to my story, or, I live a magical life. So I make spells that I sell on my website. And if I make the spells, it also puts me in the witch's world. So I start to use that part of my brain and I start to live in that world. And I think if you do a very business-like thing, to find something that is even close to home, and do little things like light a candle or go outside, take a picture, can help you really snap out of that normal train of thought.
Now, it must have taken a lot of courage for you to leave your successful camera rental business and go into the writing. What was the turning point? What made you make that decision?
Well, I'm married, and my husband got a job opportunity, and I got very tense from doing business. And I also felt that that the business became repetitive. The film industry in the Netherlands is very small, so I knew everybody. I knew almost what people were going to say. It was just like, I felt, where can I go from here? I just felt stuck. So when my husband got the opportunity to work somewhere else, I just saw a way out, and I didn't really think about it properly. I think, like, I want to go and do something else, but it really forced me to reevaluate myself. And by moving to America, I really learned a lot about myself. By living in another country, I think it's a gift because you learn a lot about your own culture. I never thought about what it meant to be Dutch, but I turned out to be a pretty Dutch person. And and you really need to think about yourself. And then I started, why did I go to film school? I went to film school because I wanted to do something creative. Yes. And so that set me on a different path. And it still took me many years to get there. But thinking back, I think, gosh, I was on a path, I had to walk it. Yeah. But being not the most patient person, I would sometimes think, oh, come on, can we hurry up to the next step?
Now, it sounds to me like being pushed out of your comfort zone was another good thing. Moving to the new country, it really pushed you to stretch yourselves beyond where you would have been if you had stayed back at home, correct?
Absolutely. I think it's extremely uncomfortable, but a very good thing to have happened. And I also am lucky that my partner is anyway somebody who pushes you out of your comfort zone constantly. So it's something that I think really helped me grow a lot. And being in your comfort zone is just natural, and it's great. But I think by going out of your comfort zone, you grow and you learn new things. And you also learn that, I learned anyway, by that I don't know anything. And there's so much out in the world, and you can learn so many new things, and it's so exciting. I think by learning that you don't know anything, it's just great because it opens a whole new world for you.
It does. It certainly does. So tell us a little bit about the spells and the magic. Not many people go there. Not many people allow themselves to explore magic and spells and the mystery that is in this life. How did you come about to learn about this and use it in your own life?
When I went to film school, I wandered into the red light district. There was a very cute little store called Himalaya, and I picked up my first book about witchcraft and tarot cards. And I was really drawn to a natural way of living and connecting to the cycles of nature. And these days, I think that got lost a lot. And I think by living in the flow of the moon and the circles of the seasons, it makes a lot of sense to me anyway. And that's why I love living in places with high energy. Like here on the west coast of Ireland, I feel connected to the land. But in New Orleans, I feel connected to the life that runs through that city. And by connecting to nature and to the flows of energy, I feel that it enriches your life and makes you more conscious of what's happening around you, or little things, or it's a conscious way of doing things. And with the spells, it's like you just simply set an intention. And by being a mindful intention, you put things into the world and it starts to take on a life on its own. So when I make a spell, I look for little things all the time. So when I walk on the beach or if I'm in a little shop, and I pick up constantly little things that fit in there. And then I sit down and I think, just to give you the most mundane example, a love spell, I just think about love and the little things that I have around me that think about love, that represents, like water is about emotion. And so I take a little shell from the beach and put it in there. And so I have a million little tiny things that I put in there. And then I bless it under the full moon. And there you go.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, words are powerful. Most spells, of course, are made up of words. One of the things I've learned is to be very conscious of the words I'm putting out there, because we do create everything with the words that are in our heads, the words that come out of our mouths. And like you said, the intention behind those words causes that ripple effect to make things actually happen. So tell us something a little bit about your stories. I'm curious to know what you write about.
My stories is about witches, but I think deep down it's just about family. I'm fascinated with family, and my story is about 3 generations of witches that has to fight some form of evil, but they're basically busy with their relationships and the relationships out of the world, finding out who are they, learning to be yourself. And I love that it communicates between the generations, because I feel, especially in our Western society here in Europe and America, that sometimes the natural connection between generations is a little bit lost. And I think there's great value to combine old and young. And so I play around with that, but I also play around, I come from a real family, but I'm also really aware that there are people out there who don't feel like they fit at all in their family. So it's an endless thing you can explore. You can go endlessly into family connections. I've always been watching dynamics in families, and I use that now in my stories.
Oh, I love that. So if there was somebody here who is thinking about going into the writing world or exploring their own creativity, based on how you've discovered your flow, what 3 nuggets of advice or wisdom could you share with them on how they can get started?
The most important thing is just get started. Don't care too much about if it's good or not. Just start doing things. Another thing is you can start doing courses. I did a lot of writing courses on about different ways, about dialogue, but also about story. And but just take what works for you. I find, and that's clearly, if you teach people something, you have to believe in what you teach, but not everything works for everybody. So you take from all the things that you learned and make it your own. make your own thing out of it, and don't be afraid to say this works and this doesn't work for me. Don't get stuck in it till this is the way. There's not just one way. There's a million ways, and you have to find your way. And last, I think, is just don't do one thing. Just explore different things, because you never know. I never thought I would become a writer. And if you would have said that to me when I was 20, I would have said, you're insane. I have no patience. If you get an email from me, it's just 2 sentences. But now I just write whole books. You just never know. Just try stuff out.
I love it. And you talk a lot about passion. I believe that your life purpose is in the things you're passionate about, the things that come easy with no effort. And it is a matter of exploration that you will discover your passion, really, correct?
Yes, I mean, like you in your life, you did so many things. And I think if you don't step out of your comfort zone, what we talked about earlier, and you don't try out new stuff, then you just you get sort of stuck. And, you know, if it makes you happy, it's fine. But I think trying out new things, a whole new world opens. And I wish that for everybody, you know, and it doesn't need to be big trips to different countries, or, you know, it can be going for a picnic in your park and see that owl, or, you know, you just don't know where it is, but you don't know until you step out and start doing things.
Yeah, the inspiration is all around us if we really are present and we pay attention. That is so true. So are you helping other people to discover these gifts? How can people find you?
I love to talk about it, and you can find about the world of the witches on my website under the witch's hat. There's more information about the books, about, but also there are recipes, because, you know, one of my witches in the books cooks a lot, so I use that to put some of my recipes out there. And there are cocktails on there. You can find the spells there, because then you can see it's a whole world that, for me, creates in the end these books and the stories. And one of the things I also do is in my books, each chapter starts with a tarot card, and they're designed by my friend and wonderful artist Nicole Ruigrok, and it's just a joy to work with another person that's creative, because even that pushes you in sometimes to do better. It's always, you know, you talk about it, and it really helps things grow. So if you ever have a chance to work with somebody that's also creative, I would recommend that, because that's also a gift. So, and you can find our story on the website as well. And it's just
wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I'm excited to have met you, and I'm so glad you ticked yes to know more information about the reality TV show that I'm working on for the HerStory movement. So I will say my goodbyes to everyone. Thank you so much for this interview, but don't go away.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me. I loved it.
It's an absolute pleasure. So all of you out there who are seeking your creative selves, do something different. They say everything you want is on the other side of fear. If it scares you, that's where you need to go. Explore, pick up a paintbrush, get some clay and become a sculptor, or start playing the guitar or the piano. Do something creative, explore who you truly are. Refuse to choose to be one thing. That's how I've lived my life, and it's been absolutely amazing.
I totally agree.
So I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you again for this interview.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Mhm.
Hey, Jerry.
Hi.
It looks like Terry's been kicked out of StreamYard. I'm not sure why. So I'm just trying to restore her and bring her back in.
Nice. Okay.
What is your feedback for this last?
Wow, she is a fascinating woman. You are right. I don't know that I have any interest in tarot cards or anything like that, but just the way she went about it. You know, my favorite thing she said is, and something we probably should be talking more about, is how to start writing a story. You know, I know many people who have fascinating, amazing stories that have no idea where to start, and I like to address that because that was me. I had done took care of grandma for 12 years. It was just normal life to me. It wasn't anything extraordinary to me, but it was our life. So when I became a flight attendant, you know, you have hours at night to talk about the things that you know, every time we flew, we almost always met someone new to fly with. So I would tell them my stories about the things that happened with grandma, and every single one of them would say, Jerry, you need to write a book. You need to put that in a book. And I literally told those stories for 25 years. So
Wow.
I got so familiar with the story because I was reliving it or enjoying it again because it was
Yes.
a great experience to take care of her. And it was, you know, and I shared it with everybody. And if someone was struggling with taking care of someone, I would tell them my stories and give them the ideas that I tried, not thinking that it had anything to do with a book, but just that it was something that I had that I could share. So then when I finally started sharing that the things that I had done enough, I decided, okay, I'm going to sit down and write a book. So I sit down and I write the story and I organize it. And I mean, it takes me a little bit of time to do it. And then I try to read it to my mother-in-law. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is awful. I'm not a writer. I didn't even learn to read till 10th grade. And because I had a vision problem that I didn't know about. But here I am trying to write a book. And I'm like, so then I took the book and I had my cousin, who's an English major, and I said, can you use the grammar so the grammar makes sense? Oh, okay. So he did that, and it did come out a little bit better, but then it's still like there was something wrong with it. So I put it away, and then after a period of time, enough people kept telling me, you know, you need to finish that book. You need to, you know, finish that book. So I'd pull it back out and I'd write again. And what the turning point for me was similar to what she had done, is I decided to join at the senior center. They had a writing class, and I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. You know, it's a bunch of seniors. You know, maybe I'll meet someone that's written a book. Oh no, I didn't meet someone who's written a book. I met people who had several books that were bestsellers, and they were in this class. And I thought, what are they doing in this class? And I figured out they're in there to teach me. And I mean, I went every single week, and I had professors that taught literature in the colleges, and authors and publishers. And I think it was a really exciting group of people, because I'd go and then I'd go back home and that's a good idea. I need to think about writing that way. And I'd put it into paper, and then, you know, I tried to make it better. I rewrote it 5 times, 5 different rewrites. And then I thought, okay, now I got it ready to go. So I started taking my chapters to the workshop, to the class at the senior center, and reading it to my classmates. And it was a really good response, but they still had things that I could tweak here and there, and it was so helpful. Then the next turning point for me was I joined a weekend retreat on writing. And you know Linda Olsen.
Yes. Oh, so sad that she passed away.
Yeah, it's sad that she passed away because she was
Mhm.
so vibrant. But anyways, she just taught me so much about, okay, yes, anybody can write. Really, anybody, everybody has a story. And
Mm.
the name of her company was Your Story, or her book was Your Story Matters. And she made everybody realize their story mattered, no matter what the story was. I mean, she's the one that made me realize that I have many stories inside me, not just the story of Grandma's buttons, but many stories. So I'm working on all those. But then when I sent my book to the editor, and she and I collaborated, I was a little nervous about sending it to an editor because I didn't know anything about such a thing. Now that I know what I know, as I write now, she's getting the information, not after I've finished the book.
Yes.
She made me, with collaborating with her, she made me fall in love with my own book.
Oh, I love that.
Once I fell in love with my own book, then it was easy to keep going on the process. And I have my first book signing this on the 16th of this month here in Utah.
Oh, wow.
And so it's actually they advertise on Facebook, and then I advertise on Facebook, and the reactions have been really wonderful. So I'm excited to do that. And now I'm getting out there. Now that I'm feeling better, I'm getting out there and I'm doing book reviews at senior centers, and I sell out my books when I do that.
Wow.
So I'm finally getting to a point where, COVID, before COVID, I was doing HerStory. I did New York, I did Vegas, and I was like on the path of, okay, I'm going to do every HerStory conference. And then we got shut down. And so I feel like now I have that momentum again. And it's also helping me in my future writing, is feeling like, okay, if people are interested in hearing my stories, then maybe there's more. There's a lot more stories. Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So
wonderful. So, Miss Terry, you got kicked out of StreamYard. What happened there?
I don't know. I'm trying to work too many things, I guess. I was trying to make sure you had the bios, and I cut and paste, and then I hit the wrong tab. Oh, just trying to do too much. Just trying to do too much. But I'm learning.
Yeah. I see you have us queued up Deborah Roberts. Jerry, you're going to read the bio, and I will cue the video.
Okay, wait a minute. Where is the?
It's in the chat.
I'm not seeing a chat. Hold on. Yeah. Let me do something here.
Okay.
I think I got.
I found the chat. Okay, let me make sure it's in there.
Okay, it's not showing on mine, so.
No, it is not in here.
You dropped out, Terry.
Yeah. Okay, I can easily pull it up, and I do know how to do that without a problem. I can pull that up.
Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead and send it. That'd be great.
Yep, I still had that tab open.
All right.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Deborah Roberts. LCSW is an author, conversation expert, public speaker, and developer of the relationship protocol, communication model. Her proprietary, practical, and effective approach to communication revolutionizes how we interact with work together. It is at the core of the communication protocol, an 8-lesson online professional development program for organizations with a background as a licensed clinical social worker, a business consultant, and a trauma consultant. Deborah has over 25 years of experience working with challenging relationships in all settings. She is a columnist for Inc.com, has written for Business Insider, and has been featured as an expert on multiple media platforms, including the New York Times. I introduce to you Deborah Roberts.
Hi, I'm Deborah Roberts. I'm a conversation expert and the developer of the Relationship Protocol Communication Model. And that model extends from the boardroom all the way to the kitchen table. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so an LCSW. I'm also a business consultant and a trauma consultant. So I'm the full package. And I have a lot of experience working in nonprofit organizations. I've worked with children who were in crisis, a runaway program. I've worked in poverty legal settings. I've worked in health and mental health settings. I've had a private practice for many years. And I've also been working in businesses and dealt a lot with traumatic situations. Excuse me. And so what I found in all of those different experiences that I had, that the common denominator is that regardless of the setting, the circumstances, the challenges, that when I was able to teach people how to communicate, how to express what they need, how to resolve their conflicts, build trust, communicate in a way that they can feel heard, everything changed. The quality of their life changed, the relationships changed, the trajectory of a relationship or even an interaction. Meaning, when we learn how to approach an interaction, how to continue and navigate something, and how to not engage in that, that hustle, that fight, how to have differences and know how to communicate about them. It makes such a difference in the quality of our lives and the quality and depth of our relationships. And so when I realized that what I was doing was different, because to be honest, for about 20 years, I kept hearing these wonderful comments about my work. And I had a huge private practice and a big consulting business. But I didn't realize that what I was teaching was so different than what other people were, how they were working. And when I realized it, I did a lot of due diligence and I found out that my work was different, that I was teaching the fundamentals, just the basics of how to have a conversation. And here in the United States and probably all over the world, we don't teach people how to talk to each other, how to resolve differences, how to get along, and how to be heard. And so I started doing this. I ended up writing and writing and writing. And I created this model, the Relationship Protocol Communication Model. There are 6 components to the communication model. The first 2 key elements, what they do is they teach you how to have a perspective for being in a healthy relationship and or to have a productive interaction, whether it's with someone that's in a personal relationship or a business relationship, family, friend, whomever. And the 4 steps are the how-tos. How do you have conversations? It gives you the fundamental ways of having conversations. So I ended up writing my book. And I guess one of the things that really was so shocking to people around me was that while I was excited about the book, I thought it could be a download that could be sent out without me being involved in it, that the relationship protocol was that good that everybody would want it. I didn't really understand that I had to be a part of it. So unfortunately, there was a big delay for a long period of time because I couldn't get out of my own way. I'm a private person. I wasn't interested in being in the public eye. I wasn't interested in being public at all. So I didn't want my name on my book. I didn't want my picture on my book. And I delayed the process. Eventually I caved, put my name on it, put my picture on, but I'm not kidding. I think I delayed the process for more than a year. It was more than a year, if I admit it. And when I look at it now, the picture on my book is this 1-inch black and white shot. And I understand it's a relationship book. I had to put my name on it. I get it. I couldn't get out of my own way. But I think what started to happen was I realized that what I'm talking about is important. And what I'm talking about is something that can be duplicated and can be received by people in all settings. And that's part of what my drive was. So it kind of became a mission for me in a small way back then. Now I'll tell you in a moment more about my current mission. But that mission became, wow, this is a little bigger than me. It's not just about Deborah Roberts going out there, it's about the relationship protocol. It's about the capacity for reaching more people. And I'm a social worker at heart. I believe in grassroots stuff. So I was excited at the possibilities. And that's where all of this started for me. Once I started to realize that what I was saying was so important and it can change lives and it can make a difference. I'm talking about how to show up in a committed way, whether it's in a close, important, intimate relationship, or whether it's at work. How do we show up to build trust and so that people can connect with us and know they can count on us and feel secure in our interactions? And how do we turn towards others, showing up in a way that's relational? If I'm upset with you, I might turn away. If I'm distracted, I might turn away. But I'm also talking about bigger issues now, that turning away can have to do with biases, that I can be turned away from you because I don't like you, I don't like the department you work in, I don't like your sexuality, your race. And when I am behaving that way, I'm turned away. And I teach people that it's important to understand when you're dealing with someone who cares about you and wants to get along with you for the sake of the company, for the sake of the relationship, for the sake of your marriage, whatever it is, and they can switch and turn towards. We all do that. We all can be distracted or annoyed at things. But people who are invested in their negativity and want to stay there, they're turned away. And a group of people who are turned away can cause a lot of damage. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about now. I'm trying to help everybody understand and give words and language to how we communicate and how we can show up. And when sometimes you're just not going to make a difference. You can't reach people that don't want to be reached. We all know that. If we want to change and we understand that we have the power to show up in our best, as our best self, and communicate in a way that people can hear us and that they want to figure out a way to communicate with us. So my mission, bigger than I am, is to make the world a kinder, more communicative place. And to do that, we need to be kind and we need to be able to talk about our differences. And these days, I know that that's a tough mission, but I think we can do it. I came from a family where my mother was a third grade teacher when I was growing up. And she worked in a minority area. She worked in a very, very low income area. And every year I would spend the day with her, a few days, with her students. I was the same age as her third graders. So I was 9 or 10 years old, even starting going there younger. And she would always be so loving to these children and so kind and respectful. And I remember her saying to me from a very young age, everybody's important and these kids are important. And we're going to give them a little extra love because they don't always get that in the world. But that's what we're going to do here. And she just made it a normal part of what I was supposed to understand about human interaction and how we love and respect each other. My father was a salesman. And when I was graduating college, when he came to my graduation, he looked so upset. And I said to him, what's going on? And my parents told me that my father had gotten fired from his job. He was a very proud man. He had become the national sales manager of a company. And he was proud of that position because he had been a salesman for them and he worked his way up the ladder. What he found was that a big corporation took over the company and they wanted him to treat the salesmen differently, treat them like they're numbers, treat them like they don't really matter that much. And he wasn't going to do that. He refused to do that. And in so doing, he got fired. He felt that these were my peers, but these are people who are working hard. They're doing their job. They're motivated to get things done. But the corporation wanted more numbers, more action. And even though they had a great year that year with my father in his last few years working for them, it didn't matter to them. They didn't like that he was still friends with these people, that he treated them like human beings, that he wasn't looking to be the authoritative personality. And back then, we're talking many decades ago, he was in many ways ahead of his time. He wanted to treat them like human beings. He wanted to create a positive culture. So combined, realizing as I've gone through this process and learned about myself in the process, I realized that I came from parents who have influenced my model and influenced, of course, my way of thinking. But it's really important to understand that at the root of the relationship protocol communication model, it is about kindness, and it is about treating people with respect and learning how to listen to each other. What I've also done now is I've expanded, and I've taken this model and I've brought it into the workplace. So now I created a course that I'm so proud of. I poured my heart into it, as I like to say. It is an 8-lesson online program for the workplace. I call it the trifecta. The trifecta is, well, let me explain. So in order to be an effective communicator, you need to have self-awareness. So you need to be aware of who you are. You need to understand the value of self-awareness and how to communicate with others in a way where you're paying attention. Even the best communication skills won't matter if I'm not aware of how I show up in the world and how I impact people. So I teach in this program how to increase your self-awareness and why it's so important. What I also teach is the relationship protocol model, but I've changed it. I've created some tweaks. It's the same 6 components, but these components are taught with a workplace culture in mind. So it's the relationship protocol at work. So you learn the basics of how to approach a conversation, whether it's from a leadership position or an employee position. And you learn how to build trust, how to demonstrate your commitment, deal with conflicts. And then the last part of the trifecta, which I think is really cool, is the masterclass. And the masterclass is all about coping. It's called Life Strategies for Wellness. I teach 5 coping skills, on-the-go coping skills for dealing with stress, dealing with overwhelm. What about if you have a lot of negative self-talk? How can you start to turn that around? I also talk about emotional triggers. So if you think of a full functioning human being and how we want to be in our relationships, how we want to show up at work, how we want to show up in life. If I can teach these organizations, nonprofit organizations, big, small companies, how to have these cultures where we can figure out a way to talk about our differences, to talk about conflicting topics, and to feel more confident and equipped to express what we need, we have a whole different ballgame going. And you have to know self-awareness. You have to have good, solid, fundamental communication skills like the relationship protocol and now the relationship protocol at work. And you have to be able to cope, because what if in the course of the conversation or in the course of the day, you start to feel overwhelmed? It doesn't matter what a great communicator you are. If you don't know how to self-soothe, if you don't understand what's going on and how to take better care of yourself. So it's super important to be able to be someone who can show up fully formed. And what this program does is it takes my years, my decades of being a clinician and a business consultant and a trauma consultant, put it all together. And now I'm going to enter the workplace. This is new for me. You mentioned challenges. I don't fully see this as a challenge, even though it's a newer arena, but I do see it as interesting. I wake up every day and say, how can I serve on a deeper level? And I do believe that I am arriving at that deeper level by being able to reach more people, touch their lives, and make those changes. If we can become a world where people know how to talk to each other, just the basics, imagine what that would feel like and how we can all show up in a way that we can feel proud and we can connect on a deeper level. We can care about each other and be just the peaceful, kind place that we all deserve. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about me. I could talk about communication and the changes that I would love to see in the world and in our interactions, one by one human being to the next. I can talk about it for a long time. So if you'd like to reach me, I have a website, therelationshipprotocol.com. I'm on LinkedIn at Deborah Roberts, Debra Roberts. And I'm also on Instagram at The Relationship Protocol. So I hope to hear from you. And thank you again for the opportunity.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
It was very interesting.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. We don't know how to communicate.
That's so true.
Yeah.
True. You know, one of the story about she telling about her dad was the exact same thing that I went through with my late husband. He was super kind-hearted and easygoing, and he worked at House of Fabrics, which he was a district manager for House of Fabrics. He worked with over 100 women, and he was very kind to them because he just was a kind person. He was just as good with them as he was with me, and they loved him. And he would get his district was the #1 district in the company, whichever district they moved him to. He would make it the #1 district. And they fired him because he didn't have the right personality for management. Because he didn't make his managers cry, he wasn't a good district manager, which really blows my mind to this day. Because kindness can take you a long way. You can get people to, especially in management, you can get people to do a lot more by being kind than by, knocking them on the head with a hammer. I mean, just it doesn't make sense that the company ended up going out of business. Not to my surprise, but he ended up starting his own business and being really happy and making a lot more money. And I used to tell him, just let me send him a thank you note. Thank you for firing my husband because now we make a lot more money. But he would let me do it. It was just something I really wanted to do.
I know when I first went into management, I grew up, I'm paying you. I don't have to be nice to you. Do your job. That's what you're supposed to do. And I had to mellow out. I took an extracurriculum course on assertiveness training.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just strict. I was bossy. I was like, okay, I'm paying you. Why do I need to flower things up? That's what they call the lion in me, because I am a lion. I used to be a lion. I'll put it that way. I'm not that way anymore. But I used to be a lion. And they would always tell me, okay, we need you, after I've been on the job for a few years, and they were like, okay, we need you to tone down, just you get the job done, but nobody's liking you. And I said, they don't have to like me. I didn't know them before I came, and I don't know them now, And so it was just my attitude about the job, And then I found out that when I became a little bit nicer, everybody did what they were supposed to do and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I realized that I needed to tone down. I was so aggressive.
Yeah.
So I had to mellow out.
Well, at least you learned at the right time.
Yeah.
At least you learned that.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah. And
I've been
they always
my whole life.
Yeah. People may not remember what you did or how you did it, but they remember how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And that's important. And my mother tried to teach me that years ago, but I was like, boom, boom, boom,
And that goes to what Gertrude was saying earlier, how important it is to think about what comes out of our mouth. Because that is so true. If we say things a certain way at a certain tone, we can make it something that would be so simple to be not very simple.
Oh, I know. I used to tell my subordinates, people that work for me, if I'm in a bad mood, you can always tell. I'll come in, close my door. That means don't knock on my door. Okay? If you
leave me alone,
or I don't know what you're going to get. And I knew that about me.
Oh man.
But I found out differently. Thank God I matured.
That's good. One of my daughters is a what's she called? resolution. She like conflict resolution.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
She does that for a living.
Mhm.
And she works with married couples. She even is certified in hostage situations. She has
Oh,
the
wow.
ability to talk through a hostage situation.
Wow.
And one time she was giving a talk at Pinterest, had a conference, and she was the speaker, and she was talking about her son, who was 4 years old, who was she could hear him from downstairs yelling at someone out the window of his bedroom, and he was yelling, "You're not my mom! You're not my mom!" And he was standing on the windowsill, ready to fall out the window, and this lady was yelling, "Get back in that window! Get back in that window! You're not my mom!" So she came in the room and she said, "I had to be ever so patient and quiet and gently say, Anderson, what you doing up there?" He goes, "That lady keeps telling me what to do, and she's not my mom."
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, well, you're right. She's not your mom. Your mom wants to have a hug. Could I have a hug? He jumped down from the window and gave her a hug. Oh my gosh. I probably would have gone, "What the heck are you doing?" And he would have flown out the window. I might not have anger issues, but fear, I'm like shock.
Mhm.
I react to shock very well. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm never going to have someone coming through. At 13, a guy's leg was coming through the window of our dining room. And I was home alone with I was 13, he was 3. And I started screaming at him to get his leg out of the window. And then I ran over to the window. His leg was he was trying to get his leg out. And I slammed the window on his leg and ended up breaking it. And he got away and they caught him. But I'm not one to like, if I get scared, I don't whimper and
You're dangerous, Jerry.
You just take charge.
One time I was in a parking lot and this man was following right behind me. I mean, he was right behind me and I could feel him. And I thought, oh my gosh, am I in trouble? Is this guy's way too close? So I turned around, I got down and I started screaming, "Get away from me!" I mean, my veins were popping out of my neck. This poor guy. This poor guy went running away. I wasn't gonna do anything. So fear makes me react, not anger. Just like crazy woman. I'm sure you went to the store and said, "There's a crazy woman out in the parking lot."
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna wait till he touched me. But he was really tall, and I was bent down, looking up at him with my mean face. Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So we all have times when we do things that are a little out there.
Oh, we do. We do. So who do we have next, Terry? We have 2 more videos to play.
Okay, we have Sasha Armstrong, and I'm going to read that.
I will queue up her video.
Okay, because it is rather long, so I left it on there.
That video was really good, by the way. It was.
Just clear, right?
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, whatever you're doing on these last few are really good. Really good.
I think the connection got better. We started the router.
Oh, okay.
That's good to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So fire away, Miss Terry. I'll cue the video.
Okay. Sasha says, since you're talking about her personal life, she's letting us know that she was orphaned by the age of 13. Her mother died of cancer when she was 5 years old. She was the oldest of 3 children. Parents had gotten married at a later age in 1959, both at the age of 36. And my mom had passed when she was 42. My younger sister was 1.5 years of age, and my brother 3. My father and my maternal grandmother raised us. When she was about 11 and a half, her father had gotten a position as a French culinary professor at the Culinary Institute of America. He was very excited to have been given the opportunity to teach his art. Her father passed away from pancreatic cancer at the age of 51. He was diagnosed 3 months prior to his death. And she was the next of kin that the doctors discussed his terminal status. Prior to his passing, her dad had married a friend of the family in the hospital so as to keep the three of us together, as my maternal grandmother was deemed too elderly to do so. Sasha went to college, then went home to help her family out with her younger sister. She started a business as an administrative assistant and then grew to the ranks of assistant sales manager and an audio company and sold to the chain Walden Books. So, and she made 24 Walden Books contacts and established her profession. At the age of 24, Walden Books came after her to become their senior children audio buyer for the chain. She's got a long history in marketing and books, audio as well. When she left in 1991, she started her own business, which represented such clients as Macmillan Publishing, Warner Music, EMI Records, Abrams Publishing, and many others. Okay. And she has a lot of stories. I'm sure she's going to tell us about them all. But this is a person, I have to go back to her bio. During our time in Connecticut, she opened 2 other businesses and have dealt with tragic shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary, of which Arian was in the school, and that is one of her children. No, that's her sister. At the time of the shooting, she was 7 years old and in the 2nd grade at that time. I believe that was her daughter. Okay, so I present to you Sasha Armstrong. Very excited.
Hi, I'm Sasha Armstrong, and I am a canine behaviorist specializing in the optimization and healing of the canine to human relationship. Over my almost 25 years of doing my work, I have transformed the lives or assisted in transforming the lives of thousands of humans and canines in their amazing relationships with one another. I started out as a very young child, being very intuitively connected to animals, understanding them on very deep levels, almost psychically, within a communication standpoint, understanding their needs and desires, and being able to understand their natural language. This is something that was very apparent in my life as a child. It's something that everybody around me, my parents, my family, friends, teachers, instructors, really saw as one of my wildly important gifts and talents. So being a young child, so connected to animals and on a different level, it was taken on something that was more than just a love or a connection or an admiration. It was something way deeper than that. And as the years went by and I became a teenager, it was almost inherent and natural. It was just an understood knowing that this was a line of work. It was not just my passion, my duty, my service, but it was something that I almost felt a knowing that I would develop into a career and my life's work. So from a very young age, as I always say I've never worked for anybody else in my entire life. I've always kind of guided my own ship and always developed ways of being my own boss and working for myself. I started in my early teens working with troubled dogs. And it was all word of mouth, and people knew that I had the gift, and so they would send their dogs to me, their very troubled dogs, knowing that I was the one that could fix the problem. So as time went on and I developed these really important relationships with humans, that they were trusting me to really create a whole new version of their dogs' lives and change and rehabilitate the troubled nature in which they found themselves in. I became to get busier and busier, and people would. Before I knew it, I had so many dogs that I had to work with. I was overwhelmed, and word just seemed to spread like wildfire. And all the while, as I developed in my knowledge, as I understood the inner workings of the canine more and more and on much deeper levels, what became really clear for me was that I had to bridge the gap between humans and canines, that it wasn't just about the education of the dog or the rehabilitation of the dog. It was about the education of the human. It was about equipping the human with the knowledge and the technique and the intuition and the instinct to be able to connect with their dogs in a way that would enhance both of their lives to restore harmony. So as I moved on and had more experiences in working with dogs, in studying wolves in the wild, living and exploring with wolves that are captive and were wild. I've been studying wolves for over 25 years. This started to put together the missing pieces of what has now today become my proprietary methodology. And so my work of studying wolves, bringing that deep knowledge and important information into the work that I do with humans in this society and dogs that are in this society in all of the many facets, whether it's police dog training academies or service dog training academies, or working with rescues, or working with humans and families, single people in their homes, transforming the human to canine bond, while first and foremost aligning the human with the best version of themselves so that they can show up for their dog in that ideal way. So as I was developing my work, and as I said, my methodology that I now have today, I came across a lot of interesting situations in which I was able to experience different facets of life and society, and really delve into the inner workings of the human to canine bond. So for example, when I was in my early 20s, I lived in a gang-infested neighborhood on the west side of Chicago. I was definitely by far one of the only white people that lived in the neighborhood. And my particular apartment was surrounded by gangs, Latin Kings, IGs, Imperial Gangsters. And I ended up being caught up in a lot of that, the dynamics between rivaling gangs, neighboring gangs, and in that culture. What I was able to experience between the relationship that these young men had with their dogs, a lot of whom, they were involved in fighting culture, was that I befriended them. And I ended up developing really so many important relationships in educating these young, wonderful men that had so much inside of them, so much going for them that I saw, but clearly they had not received the ideal education and information early in life that led them to partake in such abusive and unfortunate situations. And so some of my most memorable experiences is working with these men and working with their dogs and getting them to step out of gang culture and get their GEDs and become massage therapists and psychologists and really healthy, family-oriented, highly functioning people. And I'm still in touch with a lot of them today. And a lot of that was, centered around, I believe that I really was enveloped into that world, being a young teenager with a quite a fearless, for lack of a better term, approach to life and a justice that I needed to serve for animals. So Sasha was pretty legendary and well known in busting into gang infested homes. I would had my bolt cutters and cut through wire fences where gangs would be hanging out and storing their weapons and their money and their drugs and all of it, and I would just walk in completely unfazed, and I would remove dogs that were on chains, that were abused, that were neglected, that were starving, that were very damaged from fighting, and I knew where to go. It was just innate in me. I knew where they were, and I knew how to get them out, and nothing was going to stand in my way. And so I became, I would say, quite well known in the Chicago area for my work in rescuing dogs of that, not just in that sector of society, but kind of all over in many walks of life as far as that's concerned. But this really catapulted me into working hands-on and just kind of naturally, organically connecting with these men that really needed me, and I knew that they did, and we forged incredible bonds and relationships as a result. So through all of the many interesting aspects of my life and working with dogs since I was very young, here I am today, and I have a wildly successful educational program. I have an e-course coming out, and I work with families and I consult with service organizations all over the world, really teaching how to communicate to our dogs and how to bridge the gap that keeps us disconnected, not only from our dogs and from nature, but from ourselves. And when we can reconnect with ourselves and reconnect with nature, we can then connect in the most beautiful, extraordinary ways with man's best friend, one of our most important, valued, sacred relationships that humans could ever have. So as we, as I experience life now, it has been, there's been so many ups and downs, and there's been so many challenges along the way, so many different pathways that I could have taken, so many forks in the road that I could have chosen, whether it was a fine arts photographer with full boat scholarships to many fine art schools across the country, solely based on my portfolio, because I have never wanted to be in school. School was never part of my agenda. It was always being with the animals and connecting to nature and being on the street and connecting with people at a really raw core level. And that for me was the ultimate education. To me, that was the way that Sasha was going to elevate and to make a difference and be of service. And ultimately, that is what has led me to where I am today, with all of the forks in the road, and the ups and the downs and the massive learning curves that have come forth. But at this time, and even though there's so much to learn and grow, as a person, as a soul, as somebody that is of service in my work, I am beyond blessed to be where I am, and I'm just so incredibly grateful for all of the experiences that have led me to where I am today. Currently, I reside on my 60-acre property in Northwest Illinois with my pack of dogs and my herd of horses. And I offer a multitude of different educational programs. I offer a virtual program for clients all over the world. I have a wonderful in-home transformational program where I consult within my clients' homes and communities all over the world. And then I host just an incredible program at my sanctuary retreat on my farm, where dogs get to come to me to have the most wonderful, transformative experience of their life, and then be able to educate their humans and their partners, their human partners in life on the back end. And the marriage of those two experiences, bringing that into alignment, is what creates the magic. And I, again, am so grateful to be a part of this service and to watch both humans and animals grow into the best versions of themselves. Thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I look forward to hearing more.
Okay. So that was Sasha. Very, very interesting story and history. Definitely a woman who has a passion to look after dogs and animals. Very, very touching presentation.
We've always had animals in our family. My oldest brother, who died about 3 years ago, he's always trained canines. I mean, and he would make them so mean, but all he had to do was just bark a command and they'd sit down, And but we've always had some sort of animal in the house. I can remember he was trying to help this one dog deliver her puppies, and I'm like, dude, it's natural. They'll take care of that. And he's like, no, they're having some problems. So here I am being the nurse, right? So I'm standing there. What do you need me to do? So he used to get me in kind of all kinds of stuff with he had pigeons. We would go visit my dad out on the farm and in Michigan, and we'd come home with chickens and roosters and all kinds of crazy stuff. My mother's like, if you bring another animal in this house.
Your poor mom.
So there is, people have a connection.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why they have these comfort animals now, and there is a connection with dogs and humans,
There is. Yeah, unfortunately, the one thing about me that I would like to change the most is the fact that I'm allergic to cats, dogs, rabbits, and horses.
You're allergic.
I'm violently allergic.
Oh, wow.
My granddaughter, who's pregnant with my great grandchild, has a dog that when he sees me, he attacks always.
Oh,
He not runs and knocks me over. He's knocked me off my feet twice.
Oh
And
my gosh.
runs and jumps on me every single time he sees me. And I would love to get her to help him because my granddaughter and my grandson-in-law love this dog. And I'm sure if it had the proper training, it
Yeah.
wouldn't jump on me when I walk in the room or when it comes. I mean, it comes through the front door and it beelines for where I am. And if I don't happen to know that he's coming, it's hard because I've been to the hospital too many times with anaphylactic reaction for dogs.
Oh, wow.
I don't even give myself a chance to have to go to do that.
No.
This dog scares me to death.
And
No,
he senses your fear as well. That's why he does it.
well, if I didn't have to worry about the hospital, I wouldn't be so afraid. But I do not want to go there again. I just don't. When you can't breathe and you're going through the front door of the hospital, it's too scary. It's like that inability to breathe. So hopefully they'll get some sort of training, but I think I'm gonna look up her information and see connect the two. That would be really, although she does it virtually. Where did she say she lives?
I can't remember now. Terry, can you remember from the bio? I think she's in California.
Oh, sweet. That's where they live.
Yeah.
And then-
I'll find her number for you.
I would even pay for it for them because
Yeah.
I would love to see them enjoy their dog instead of constantly be yelling at him.
Oh, that's sad.
That, trying to get him to. I mean, I'm not the only one he attacks. He attacks everybody, but I'm the one that
Okay.
attacks everybody. Everyone he sees, he jumps on him and knocks him over. But I'm the only one that could have a breathing issue from it.
yeah. I thought she said she was in Northwest Illinois.
Oh, is she?
On her farm. I thought that's what I heard.
Did say she was on a farm.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We'll have to go back and watch the videos, ladies.
Yeah. I need that
That's
contact too.
Fascinating what she did with the gangs. That's fascinating how she was able to help these young. We need a bunch of her because there's gangs all over the place, and those young people do need someone like that can relate. She related to them because she related to their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a skill I've never heard of. I never heard of someone. And I'm not surprised she had more customers than she knew what to do with because she's extraordinary. I mean, really, that's just extraordinary. What a gift. And that's not just something she learned. That's a gift she was born with. I am sure.
Yeah.
And that broke the barrier with all of these gang members.
Oh, yeah, they love their dogs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that might in some cases that might be the only thing or person they love. So that's makes it even more important that they hold on to that love. Everybody needs love.
Yeah. And when you show an animal love, like she said, they respond.
Of course they do.
Respond in kind. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this particular dog hasn't quite gotten there yet. But I think he could. He's a cute dog. He's really a cute dog. He's big.
Just the right training.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Before the baby comes, that she does some kind of training with him because he attacks the baby. I don't know.
Yeah, because they can get jealous. You have to watch them around babies.
Yeah.
You do.
Oh, wow. Okay, Miss Terry, we have one more video for the day. Who is up next?
Okay, and that is Sherry Lewell. And I believe Jerry has that.
I do.
Yes. Okay.
Now Jerry reads the bio. I'll cue up the video.
Okay.
Okay. Sherry is a senior product manager at LinkedIn, where she directs end-to-end product life cycles by leading cross-functional teams of software engineers, UX designers, and data scientists. She builds social ed tech products that help millions of people learn new skills to reach career opportunities. In her free time, Sherry is a content creator and thought leader with a global audience of 103,000 followers and 10 million plus views. Wow. She actively uses her platform and voice to help others back into the technoviews. Sherry actively uses her, here, I see it. It repeats it. Her platform and voice to help others break into the technology industry and brings representation and awareness to people from underrepresented backgrounds. 75% of her audience is made up of women, many of whom are aspiring product managers who are currently students in high school and college. To continue driving positive impact for society and pass leadership onward to millions more people, Sherry's career goal is to build a company that empowers anyone who wants to build a company that empowers, who wants to become an online content creator by educating them on content development, growing an audience, implementing monetizing and scaling strategies, and forming a diverse community to share knowledge. Her next chapter will be attending business school in the fall of 2022. She was admitted into Stanford and Harvard MBA programs and in the process of deciding, it doesn't tell me what she's deciding. Fun facts. Oh, she's in the process of deciding which one. Fun fact, Sherry enjoys creating pottery, items of a ceramic studio, throwing mugs and vases. She's a scuba certified, and her dream dive destination is the Big Island of Hawaii with manta rays. Sherry's seen 19 Broadway shows in person, and Hamilton is her favorite. She's working on her creative lifestyle clothing brand at www.moonshotdynasty.com. Okay, it is my pleasure to introduce Sherry. And we look forward to hearing from her.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Cherie Liu. I'm based in San Francisco, California, and I'm 26 years old. So I grew up on the East Coast in New York, and I studied computer science in my undergraduate degree. I became a product manager immediately after school, where now I work at LinkedIn. During my time working at LinkedIn as a product manager, I've worked across several business lines. I've worked on LinkedIn notifications, and now currently I'm on LinkedIn Learning, our ed tech platform. Right now, I'm a senior product manager at LinkedIn, where I help people learn new skills to land their dream jobs. And I lead teams of engineers, designers, marketers, sales, very cross-functionally, to create a product from start to finish. Basically helping through the brainstorm process, working with engineers to figure out how to build it, working with designers on what exactly it'll look like, how will it look and feel on an app, and what is the go-to-market strategy, and make sure that when we launch and release a new product feature, that people know how to use it. And specifically, it's super meaningful for me to work on LinkedIn Learning, which is our educational technology platform, so people can watch videos, read related articles, and upskills so they can land their dream job, get a promotion, and move up in their careers. Most recently, outside of work, something that I've been working on is empowering people on a global scale through TikTok. So during the pandemic in June of 2020, it was locked down in California, and I was scrolling on TikTok and really like watching the videos, finding a lot of entertainment, but also a lot of educational value. And at this time, I think TikTok was seen and is still sometimes seen as an entertainment app. People go to TikTok to get that serotonin boost, to watch funny videos, to watch cat videos, dancing videos. But I really saw an opportunity to use TikTok and educate more people about product management and breaking into technology. It didn't start out that way though. When I first started on TikTok, I experimented with the type of video content that I was creating in the app. And so I also released a couple of embarrassing dance videos at first. And it was when I started releasing videos of more educational content, I'm like, oh, there's something here. So I think the first video that really took off for me was when I started, when I recorded a video on my favorite undergraduate computer science classes at Columbia University. I rated the classes 1 to 10 in how useful they are in working in tech today. So for example, I was like, oh, my artificial intelligence class, computer science class, that was an 8 out of 10 class. The vocabulary is super useful for my role today, working in technology. My computer science theory class, that was like a 2 out of 10. It was a very interesting subject, but not super applicable to what I do today. And so when I released this video, I saw so many more people commenting, sharing, liking, watching the video as compared to my previous dancing videos. And I was like, there really is something here. People enjoy learning on TikTok. And I proceeded to create more videos, not only about computer science in my undergraduate degree, but also on how to break into technology and what it means to be a woman in tech and how to be a woman, how to be an ally to women in tech. And so that has been my niche, and I've definitely been continuing to experiment with the videos I've created. I think it's what I've done over the last 2 years is really break down the wall between how people see the professional world, because previously I think people have an idea, specifically college students and high school students have an idea of what they want to do after they graduate and enter into the real world. But many times people don't have access to the network or really a full understanding of what it really means to work in the real world. So my goal is to make technology, working in tech, and being a woman in tech more accessible to people, especially students who may not have the resources available to completely understand the full picture of what the real world looks like when they leave school. Over the last 2 years, I've gained an audience on TikTok. I call it my TikTok community now, of over 100,000 followers, which is pretty crazy because I think the idea of speaking to a room full of 1,000 people makes me nervous. And the fact that I now have a platform of 100,000 people who find value in my content and my educational videos is really amazing. On top of that, I think 100,000 people watching these educational videos is it's like an unfathomable number for me right now. 100,000 seems like, wow, what a great audience, but that's it's still a number. But even more than that, I have people who direct message me on Instagram and in many other ways contact me on my email, telling me how my content has helped them decide on a new major, decide to major in computer science, help them with landing an internship or a job. So I think hearing about that impact really makes it very tangible and real, to know how my content is helping real people reach real outcomes. So I think that's been an amazing thing so far.
Wow. What an amazing journey you've been on. You know, it always fascinates me when I meet people who manage to hack these platforms. You're right. A lot of us think that TikTok is really a frivolous platform where little children are dancing, or you can only succeed on TikTok if you're doing something in that direction. And you've literally proved that that's not the case. Now, how do you keep your community engaged? How often are you posting to get a following that big?
Yeah, when I first started out, I was posting once a week, and at that point, the growth of my community was pretty slow but stable. And from all the experimentations that I've done, it's really to grow quickly. You have to post multiple times a day, upwards of 3 times a day, every day. And the biggest thing is that consistency is key. I think a lot of the professional creators that I've spoken to, people who are lawyers on TikTok, investment bankers on TikTok, women in tech on TikTok. Really, the consistency over time is the most important part. It's really hard to grow an audience if you post one video here, another video 3 weeks later, and that consistency isn't there. Yeah.
So you have to be consistent. Now, how do you come up with the content that you're posting? What is the best way for somebody to plan their content diary?
Totally. It's a content strategy is what I like to call it. And really, it's a mix of a few different factors. The biggest overarching theme is being in constant communication with your community, with your audience, the people who are watching your videos. They're the inspiration because they'll leave questions in the comments, suggestions of topics that you should cover for your next videos. So I think it's a lot of creators I've seen end up distancing themselves from their communities and don't really respond to comments. But I think the most successful creators out there are the ones who are very in tune with what their followership wants to see, and being able to answer their questions through the comments. There's also a Q&A feature that TikTok has, and being very receptive to feedback and ideas from their entire community.
So what you're basically saying is you have to listen to what your community is saying. That way you're going to deliver appropriate content that really answers their pain, answers their questions, correct?
Absolutely. And I think this is how my professional background kind of ties into what I've been doing on TikTok. As a product manager, when I create features to launch, the whole premise of the feature that I'm creating is to solve a pain point and to help people make their lives easier, help them land their jobs, and really understanding what people's what their questions are, what their problems are. So absolutely, as a product manager and a content creator, it's really getting to the core. What is the question that people have, and how can I best serve them and help them with the background and expertise that I have in the area?
Fantastic. I'm going to share your TikTok profile so people can see how you have set it up. And I'm very curious because I am brand new to TikTok. And when I saw what you were doing, it just absolutely blew me away. I was very, very fascinated. And I'm really wanting to learn from you with this video. So on your account, when somebody's setting up an account, what is the best thing to do in terms of your profile? What are the things that should be there? I can see here that you have an email address. Kindness is free. Tell me, what are the things that should be in your profile that will attract people to you? Is there anywhere where you've got some hashtags so people can find your kind of content? Just talk to that for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you're sharing this right now so we can walk through it. I think the most successful TikTok accounts are the ones that build community. And you mentioned it before. It's like, how do you build a community on TikTok through these videos? And it's really through your authenticity coming through in your videos. So people who are watching and consuming your content get a better feel for who you are. And so from my profile, you can see that I'm a product manager. That is my profession. And I clearly put that in the very top. So people know really what the focus of my content is. I don't do dance videos anymore. I don't do cat videos anymore. It really, for the most part, I think 80% of my videos are around the professional theme. Some of them are not and are more a little bit casual and fun, but definitely you have my role on the top. And the kindness is free is just, I guess it's just like a motto that I have, or something that I like to keep saying and remind people that, be kind. And that's more authentically who I am. All views are my own, because while I am a TikTok creator, I also have ties to LinkedIn, a professional organization, and I want to make sure that that's represented there, and I'm not an entity speaking on behalf of a corporation. Definitely an email and a link out. Emails for collaborations. I think creators, no matter what size you are, whether you're 1,000 or 1 million followers, there's definitely room for collaborations with brands, with partnerships with other creators. So they have to know how to reach you. So having an email there, I created my own professional email, and a link out, because on top of being a TikTok creator, there's so many other channels to connect with me and see all the other, I guess, endeavors, side projects that I have. I have my own NFT collection. I have a Discord for people within my community to talk to each other. And that's all linked at the link at the top.
Fantastic. So we're going to go into one of your little videos. It's amazing what you can say with a very short amount of time. And like I said, I cyber stalked you when you registered to do this interview, and I've seen the value that you bring. So I'll just play one of the videos and we'll hear what you're saying. This one is about why people become product managers. Let me see if you can hear the sound.
Eminem? Who else? Who's number one? Jay-Z? No, that's cool. It's okay. That's
Drake
okay.
number 3.
That's okay. I thought Drake was going to be number 1.
M's not even on the list.
Eminem? Who else was on the list? Gucci Mane? Was on the list. And Eminem went on the list? Who's number 1?
Jay.
So, where do you get the voices from? Who's doing the voiceover for you? That's a really quirky, funny little video. Tell me about that.
Yeah, totally. I don't think this video would fly anywhere else other than TikTok. Like, you take this video, upload it onto LinkedIn, upload it onto another, platform, it may not resonate the same way. So the premise is there's a rapper named Lil Wayne, and this is his voiceover. It's his voice in the video that I'm lip syncing over, and it's a trending sound on TikTok right now, which means that I'm not only using it, but thousands of other people are using the sounds and applying it to their own concepts. And what Lil Wayne is saying is, like, this is 2006. He's like, who's the top rap artists of 2006? And someone is telling him it's Jay-Z. Oh, it's not Drake. Gucci's on the list. Gucci Mane's on the list. And so that's the premise here. It's super niche, and like, I'm trying to explain a TikTok trend now, but people are using this to show what are the concept of, like, how can we list things and what made the list, what didn't make the list. And so I took this sound and applied it to my niche of product management and tech, saying, like, what are the reasons why people would want to go into product management? Here are the reasons. Why is this 3, not 1? Oh, this didn't even make the list. And so I think it's a quirky way of connecting with the people on TikTok who understand these, like, cultural references, like pop cultural references, and tying it to my professional niche.
All right. So where does one, like someone like me, wouldn't know the first place to find what's trending, what's going on TikTok? Where do you get that information from?
I will call it research, but basically it is just scrolling on TikTok, putting time into, and time box time, so you're not scrolling for 2 hours, like 20 minutes turns into 2 hours is all too common. Yes. So really scrolling and seeing if there are videos with similar themes that pop up twice, just being very observant. Oh, it's the same sound, or oh, it's the same, lens that they're using, a filter that they're using. There's some theme around it that's trending right now, and trying to apply that to your own professional sphere or whatever niche that you're in.
Fantastic. Now, I know that on TikTok, you can also use music that's trending, correct?
That's right.
And do you have to acknowledge the owner of the music when you post your video? What are the rules?
There are copyright rules. You're definitely right there. I am not an expert at all, but for creators like myself who I think post these videos for fun, we just use these trending sounds. A lot of them is like licensed music, and a lot of the artists, for example, Doja Cat is a really popular artist on TikTok. Her sounds are trending all the time. And when we use her sounds as creators, that's totally fine. However, when creators do a brand deal or a partnership with a company, for example, let's say I'm working with Nike and Nike wants me to post a video, there are rules in there, and definitely an expert can speak on this, but I know that there's copyright rules and you can't use licensed music for those videos.
Fantastic. Wow, there's so much to be learned from you with regards to TikTok. Are you helping other people who have their own content, who are wanting to branch into the space?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my career goals that I've recently figured out over the last 2 years is that I really want to help people become creators and make their creator tools a lot easier to use. For example, as a creator, how do I monetize? If I'm passionate about creating content in this space and teaching others, how do I make that my I guess career path and lifestyle?
Yes.
And how do I monetize off of that? And I'm really passionate on helping others do that. So I think my goal in the future is to start my own company to help creators, help people become creators, help them monetize and make a living off their passions. More immediately, I've started a creator community of people who are in the like professional creator TikTok space. So like I mentioned before, there are like finance TikTokers, law, tech TikTokers, and we have a community where we share strategies that we're trying out, experimentation, brand deals, and it really makes being a creator feel less alone, knowing that other people, we can exchange ideas and share thoughts there.
Fantastic. So how can people find you? What's the best way for them to reach you? Is it just through your email?
Yeah, totally. So through my email, my TikTok, and because I'm a LinkedIn employee and also use that platform every day, you can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing where you're going to go with this. I think you have hit on something absolutely phenomenal. I personally want to stay connected with you and see how you can help us with the HerStory movement as well. But thank you for coming. Don't go away because I have another opportunity for you that I want to share. But thank you to everybody who tuned in today. A lot of us who are over 50 think that TikTok is a frivolous platform. It's actually one of the cheapest places you can advertise if you have a campaign. It's much cheaper than Facebook. So I ran a few ads a couple of weeks ago. It was like 27 cents cost per click, which is ridiculously low. It's the lowest platform you can advertise right now. And there are people on that platform of our demographic. Check it out. Contact experts like Sherry. Get some expert help. We are missing out on a huge opportunity to leverage on a completely new platform that is really revolutionizing the way people do business. So Sherry, thank you so much for coming on board today. Absolute pleasure to learn from you this morning. And I wish you luck in setting up your business in the future. I can see you really have the skills to take this to another level. So I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now. Okay, we're back. And that is the conclusion of our day. TikTok is something that I am exploring, trying to find ways to distribute our video content. And she's right, you don't have to go on there and dance or go crazy. There's some really smart people using TikTok for business. And to grow a following as big as she did, it's fascinating. Have you ladies had a try?
I've been looking at it.
Jerry, you're muted.
When it first came on, I tried it a few times, but I really had a hard time with the mothers that were cussing out their children. I don't know how you find the appropriate TikToks to watch. They just pop up, and all of a sudden, this language is going with these little kids, and I think, I don't think that's for me.
What happens with the
But
algorithm?
now I'm hearing all kinds of good things about TikTok that you can find like this. Obviously, this is a really good thing to look at.
The
we've
TikTok
lost you.
algorithm will expose you to the videos that you watch.
Say it again, because you were frozen.
The TikTok algorithm tracks what you are watching. So if you watch one of those abusive mother-child videos, it'll feed you another one and another one and another one. So you have to be selective in what you stop and watch from beginning to end. Then the algorithm will learn the content you like, and it will start feeding you more.
I just learned something new today. Thank you.
Yes.
I didn't.
And that's the way Facebook operates that way also.
Yeah, the algorithm is actually tracking everything you're watching, and it feeds you more of that. So during the Trump campaign, for example, all of those negative videos that were circulating on Facebook, on social media, if you stopped to watch it, it was like putting a tag on yourself, and you get fed more and more and more of the same thing.
Last thing I want to do is watch negative videos.
Oh, it's crazy.
Listen, I need to get on there and check out writers and authors and see if there's authors that I can follow, and then I can learn how to. I think that would be a good way for me to learn how to share my book on that.
Yeah, the best way to do it, Jerry, is to read little segments of your books, no more than 3 minutes.
Oh, that's
easy. You could literally read your book from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But like what she was saying is you go onto TikTok and you look at the trending videos and find background music that you can play while you're reading. And make sure that the background music is one of the trending music videos, and you put that on your video as well. So there's little tactics and ways.
And how if I've got the music on, how would they hear the story that I'm reading?
You would just lower the volume. So you do TikTok on your phone, and you could have a video playing on your computer. And you reduce the volume on your computer, and you read a small segment of the book.
So if it's a story that is exciting, I'd have more. I don't know what kind of music.
You would want appropriate music that goes with the theme of what you're reading. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look. That'll be my goal for the next couple of weeks. I will learn how to do. I'll go on there and look what people are doing, and then I'm going to try it myself.
Yeah, so just Google authors and see what other authors are doing. That's the best way to do it.
Google it on TikTok or
on TikTok. Go into the search on TikTok and type in author.
Okay.
Because people are putting what they're doing. If they're an accountant, if they're a lawyer, if they're an author, they put that in their bio. So you will come up with a whole list of authors. And the more authors' videos you watch, TikTok will start feeding you more.
Okay. I'm going to do that.
Yep. And just learn by example. I'm excited to give it a try because I was put off because I saw all these frivolous dance videos and cat videos. And I'm like, what the hell is this thing? So that put me off. But people are growing very big followings on TikTok. It's amazing.
Yeah, but what they do with it, if you just want to be popular, I guess it's okay. But I don't want to spend my time doing it if it's not going to
benefit you in any way. Yeah.
Me and or another person. If I can share a story with someone else that in turn they get a good idea of how to deal with the challenge that they're facing, that would be something exciting for me.
Okay.
I don't want to be popular. I just want to know if I can reach other people.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, when I gave the book review at the senior center, I did not think seniors were my target audience until I got part of the way through it, and they were totally relating to what I was talking about. And then they all came up and bought out my books. I didn't expect to sell any books there because they're all seniors, but they either have someone in their family or a friend, or they're helping someone else themselves, or and a couple of them were being helped.
And I actually find that seniors are my biggest audience for my books. They have the time to read.
Yeah.
They have the money to spend. They have family members they buy books for. So people should never discredit seniors in terms of potential clients for books.
Yeah.
They're my biggest market.
Yeah, that's great. I've been invited to speak at a assisted living home. They have family night once a month where all their families come and spend the evening with them, and they have kind of like a party every Monday night. So they've invited me to come and share the story with them. And I'm pretty excited about that one, because when you have the whole family there and you're talking about it, and you have your senior there, it kind of helps them bridge a gap.
Yeah.
Notice like when I speak to seniors and I speak to their family, I'm able to help them bridge a gap. Which
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So
that ends our summit for today, ladies. It was awesome reconnecting with both of you. I can see Comfort has been watching us on LinkedIn. Comfort,
Hi,
good
Comfort.
to see you there.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
So we will be back again tomorrow, everybody, with another lineup of amazing speakers. Enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. And ladies, same time, same place. I'll see you all tomorrow.
And I'll see you when I'm done with the family things.
All right. Jump in whenever you can, Jerry.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.